Let's see what the preparation is coming into today with Varus. Nautilus already taken away from the side of KC. Jungle going to be the focus on the side of KOI with Nocturne and Jarvan removed from the pool.
I mean, the Varus ban from KC I think makes a ton of sense, taking that away from both Myrwn and Supa. I'm curious if MKOI want to take out the Bard from Busio. It also plays very nicely into the Ashe Seraphine, so it takes away strength from that, because you can always ult it later on, and it's just been such a good pick from Busio that he has had great success on. So that's certainly a pick that I'm thinking about if I'm MKOI right now.
Hasn't been given over to him in this playoff so far. Third most banned against KC, outside of the Vayne and Varuses that always follow suit in these pick bans. Vi's going to be taken away as a final ban by KC, so Jungle Pool slimmed down a little bit more with the Ashe Seraphine lane mitigated, but Orianna's made it through.
Wow.
I mean, not often does it make... It has 100% presence because it's banned all the damn time.
Yeah, it is permanently banned, but KOI, they seem to have been prepared for this. We talked about the preparation from last year. They've clearly got a game plan. Caitlyn Pantheon is the trade. Now Neeko naturally rises in priority. It seems that KOI is willing to forego their mid lane matchup as Jojo. Let's see what he's prepared for us. Was it last year that he did the Kassadin? I want to say that it was.
Last year. It was last year.
Wasn't that long ago.
And he just said, I felt like Kassadin was good here. They didn't practice it in scrims. We'll see what Jojo's cooked up for us, but the Skarner response from Yike. Now the question is, do you match AD carry here? Are you worried about that pool getting pinched?
Yeah, I think you definitely want to match ADC. They're going to look to take away the Ezreal. I think you have a lot of good pairings with that. You can go the Bard, you can go the Neeko. I like this giving away the Orianna for one reason. It's often when a champion gets permabanned, teams just stop practicing it. So you can kind of catch people off guard by leaving it open.
Oh my.
And by playing something like Akali into it and saying, I'm going to skill check you.
I mean, this is such a good matchup for the Akali. It is rough in laning phase, but once you get out of the lane, Akali has so much side lane threat, she has so much kill pressure, and it's Jojo's Akali. Like, we've been so impressed with his Akali performances this split. Let's see what he can do on the champion. Seraphine going to be the focus. Those supports naturally going to be the ban pool.
Would you be worried about Skarner though? I feel like Skarner is so good into like the melee champions that want to go in because it's so easy to always just shut them down. Is that a worry for Jojo, you think, this game? Or as long as they don't have too much CC on support and top, you think he's fine?
I feel like Jojo's focus should be on finding flanks and avoiding the Skarner at all costs. If anything else, he'll be using the Skarner to get into the backline to then throw the Shroud down and then create chaos and distraction on the back. It kind of depends on what the rest of KOI's comp looks like. Right now, they've got a decent amount of dive, whereas KC have a little bit more of a front to back. They leverage their range, they've got Orianna, they've got Ezreal, they've got distance to play with. The Poppy ban, I think, is very smart from KOI, especially with the mobility that it exists on the side of KOI. But that Neeko, very present, very available.
I'm also wondering if KOI wants to try to go for something like the Ambessa. It has been nerfed and not been seen too much lately, but it works so well with the Pantheon and the Akali, and
Maybe
they really
that's why
need...
we've got a Poppy ban as well.
Yeah, it makes sense a lot with the Poppy ban, and it just works well into the mobile carries of KC that just want to play back and poke as well.
My only question with the Gallia ban, are we getting Rumble?
It's Rumble.
Probably
Rumble's still open, yeah.
Yes.
So maybe it's saying we're not going to negate the top lane or let you do that from MKOI. Do we get the answer of support now? Karma for the lane? Rather than another form of engage, gets to help space this comp.
So the reason why I was mentioning Neeko so much is because when we think of Alvaro, I mean, we've heard it from himself, it just feels like that he's a different player when he's on those engaged supports. So I was expecting that to be paired alongside Elyoya's Pantheon, so they'd have a lot of backline threat, but instead they're playing more for Supa with the Karma. Very dominant lane 2 versus 2. You've got a ton of push, you've got a ton of peel for the Caitlyn, but now it's KC to respond. They need their top laner and they need their support.
Yeah, I'm thinking Rumble and then either Nami or Neeko are the two realistic options that you can go for. I quite like the Nami because it's pretty easy to use the tidal wave to have a lot of impact up against the Pantheon and the Akali. Well, I think Neeko works well as well, but I think Nami makes for an easier laning phase because you get that sustained.
You know, I came into today prepping for a potential Skarner support, but I feel like with an Ezreal, this is a no-show, especially against Caitlyn.
You
Karma.
could have Skarner support this game.
We saw it on, but I mean, I think the problem is, how do you actually withstand the lane in the range?
Yeah, you'd need to definitely have like a cheese skanking jungler if you were to make it work. But it's going to be the Neeko.
Normal,
Pretty standard bot lane double range thus far. And we'll see what last pick Myrwn has for us here.
I would describe this as a volatile bot lane, wouldn't you?
Definitely
I feel that initially I would expect the Caitlyn Karma to by default have push, but Neeko Ezreal, I think they have ways to fight back in this 2v2.
They're going to be fighting to the death on bot, I would presume, because how this matchup goes is whoever gets push is not just getting push, they're getting everything. They're getting the trades, they're getting the plates, they're getting the pressure. Because Ezreal, if he has to face up against minions, he can't Q you, he can't really poke you down, and Caitlyn just wants to hit your tower non-stop. Both ADCs want to push really badly, so it's definitely going to be bot lane for me, the lane to watch.
Okay, well, with all the onus on bot lane, we'll see if top can withstand in the meantime. Myrwn on a tank, which I will say, coming back to the top lane quickly, for me is one of the best versions of Myrwn. He can be really volatile this split. He has been kind of subpar. Playoffs, he has been better. But on tank as a role player, when Jojo and Supa are on these snowballing carries, that's exactly what I want to see if I was a Movistar KOI fan. But if I was a KC fan right now, I'd wonder, was Orianna enough to pair with Skartner here and the Rumble to get this insane wombo in this game when KC have not been given over this Orianna this entire split, I believe. I mean, no teams in the LEC have gotten this pick.
I mean, it's KC versus KOI. We're building up for a bloodbath here in game one. The comps will enable that violence. Let's see which team can come out on top here in the first game of this best of 5.
For MSI, for another grand final, let's find out who can breach the gap. All of it on the line, the final golden ticket to give away. Spain versus France and Ibai versus Kameto. We go again for a round 2.
And you have to feel that this Akali-Orianna matchup, that Jojo was the one who requested this. He said, leave Orianna open. I can play Akali into it. And we've seen Jojo, when he gets a lead going on this Akali, he can easily take over the game. And there's not really much to stop him. There is the Skarner CC and the Nico CC, but it's relatively easy for the Akali to actually position around that and then go on to all these immobile carries in the Rumble and the Orianna.
I mean, if my memory doesn't betray me, this was the matchup that they played when they were in Madrid.
Yeah.
Because I do recall Jojo...
It exactly was, yeah. He styled on him bot.
He held onto his E. Yahoo used the ult, and I don't know what that graphic is.
Look, well...
why am I on it?
Well, because you were right about Jojo. And I mean, in the last time we got this Akali matchup, it was 5 solo kills in the exact matchup versus KC. So Yahoo must have some kind of repressed emotions from what exactly that was, because Jojo was on a tear that day. And Vedius, you did say he was MVP worthy.
Okay,
to paraphrase.
So
he said more than that.
You did.
Going into Madrid, I did say that I thought that Jojo was the best player in the league. It then didn't really help my case when he got solo killed not once but twice by Caps, which then knocked him down a peg or 2. But coming into the All-Pro, it was pretty unanimous that Jojo was the strongest performing mid throughout the regular season, and that consensus was shared amongst pro players themselves.
Yeah.
As we get a bit of a...
Oh dear, I'm in trouble. I gotta find a Yahoo graphic.
I mean, Jojo had an absolutely brilliant split, and while I think in the 1v1 between Caps had more impact and was favored, I do think that as like an individual mid laner split that Jojo had was the best we've seen in a long time. I think it's been a while since, like, because Caps in the regular season, he's always good, but he's not like full demon form that we know he can be.
That's true.
While Jojo, for me, felt like every single game he was looking to carry MKOI.
Now, just quickly on this pause, I've been told a player needs to change their keyboard language. So if someone on KC has the wrong language, I don't know if, like...
It might be in English and they want to change it to Korean.
Change it to Korean. Who is that? I'm going to find out. I have asked for more details on the matter as they're conducting ready checks. So it's just a quick change. I mean, you got to find it in the back of Windows. That's the problem. That's what takes the longest time.
Yeah, it's like 50 menus these days.
Yeah, that's right.
It is, yeah, so we're just building the suspension. Right now,
it was Yike, by the way.
And we're building the suspense. Oh, it was Yike. That, of all the people, I would not expect Yike.
Maybe it was English and you want it in Swedish? I don't know, or vice versa.
Well, in any case, as we expected, this mid matchup is going the way of Yahoo early on. He's going to be able to get that push. Akali just kind of has to tank it and do her best. Meanwhile, on the bot side, that's why we were super interested in this early 2v2, because we talked about how Ezreal and Nico can try to contest, but it is determined on you landing those skill shots.
Yeah, and that's also why you pick the Karma. It's like the strongest pushing support in the game, and you see it here on the trades. You can shield yourself, walk up, land the Mantra Q, and do a lot of damage that way. I like that Caliste went for the TP. That way, even if you get pushed in a little bit, you can always use that to cheat some tempo and get an early tier recall, get an early Sheen.
And let's talk about cheating tempo, because look at this Ornn. Basing deep in enemy territory. Why? Because Myrwn was able to push, move past the tower, proxy a wave, get a nice base off, and now he doesn't have to expend his TP while also getting to pick up the refillable pot. I was halfway between potion and pot, and I said poke. And now he gets a nice cheetah recall, so good timing there for Myrwn, doing pretty well here in the early laning phase.
Yeah, really nice laning from Myrwn, and side that up with Supa and Alvaro being able to push in Caliste, getting a CS lead for themselves as well. Overall, a pretty good early laning phase. Jojo as well. Not really behind at all in the CS in the Orianna matchup. And they're even zoning them.
There's an angle here. It's a flash for a tether. Caliste gets flashed on by a Pantheon as well. Rooted up, slowed down an auto. Puts Caliste in the ground for first blood. What timing from Elyoya and Alvaro.
What a great play from MKOI using the Woman Brow, but they're not done.
On the spot. Sugar Flip won't save his life, and Yahoo gets Jojo too.
And a bloodbath we wanted, and a bloodbath we've been promised, and that's what we're getting here between KC and MKOI. Both teams just want to brawl it out. You see Caliste, that's the punishment for taking the teleport. You don't have the barrier, you don't have the cleanse, so when you get locked down, you don't have any defensive summoner to actually help you out. At least he's going to be able to TP back, pick up the tier, so he doesn't lose as many minions as he would have if he died without that teleport. But now it's a big lead for Supa, since he was able to crash the wave, get a plate for himself. But then in the mid lane,
it was a situation of junglers and the early crab that they had to go for. Because of the push that KOI had in the bottom lane, that meant that Elyoya, from pathing top to bot, could secure that crab and look for a dive. Yike, on the other hand, has to go back to base in order to then go to the top crab, realizes that Jojo is playing way too deep with too little HP, and is then able to get a counter gank in the middle lane as well. So, there's the Elyoya. You can see Yike on the minimap already walking up. An early flash from Alvaro to connect the W. Caliste almost gets away, but it's because of that route that they're able to find this kill. Meanwhile, Jojo, he's desperately trying to push this wave out as quickly as he can. And Yahoo flash Ws to guarantee the damage, limit Jojo's ability to find an outplay. The risk is Orianna now has no flash.
that is definitely a risk, but I do love the ballsiness from Yahoo, and I also think it's like punishing the #1 weakness that we've seen from Jojo, that he can get a little bit too cocky. He always wants to trade back no matter what, even if the enemy jungler is there. And now, with Yahoo having that gold lead, maybe he can get some survivability and make it harder for Jojo to actually do anything at
I'll
6.
tell you right now, though, Jojo has typed the flash timer of that Orianna, and he's staring at Elyoya. He is saying, when are you 6, bro? And he is waiting for that timer because they will look to get revenge on the mid lane matchup. Jojo will want kills on the Akali, he'll want to accelerate it, and Yahoo going for a Rod of Ages, smart itemization against Akali, having that extra bit of health, play safe, and look at Yahoo. Very respectful, very aware, level 6 timers are coming through for junglers, and he wants to play safe.
It definitely looks like Yahoo learned something from the last time he faced Jojo's Akali. He's playing a lot more respectful this time. Yike wants to try to sniff for a steal here, but he's going to get zoned out as his laners are not there to cover. So first dragon going over to MKOI.
Okay, well, MKOI just back away. They don't give Yike an angle to find anything with Yahoo now teleporting in. He's going Rod of Ages on this Orianna, by the way, so more slower scaling build against the Akali, against the health he wants, so that he can survive the all-in burst. As he also gets access to mid with Jojo having to base without his TP. So a bit of plating to start off the game for Yahoo, 500 gold up.
Yeah, the base from Yahoo was very smart, specifically because, yes, they do concede the dragon, but they realized that after the kill that happened on the bot side anyway, they wouldn't have the power to contest this dragon. So Yahoo goes for an early base. He then TPs back knowing that Jojo doesn't have his TP. And because Jojo even rotated over to assist with the dragon, he ended up losing a lot. He's now 10 CS down. The TP was used to help Yahoo get a plate, and now he's got a 600 individual gold lead over Jojo.
Yike wants to try to, he wants to try to invade here with Canna's push. Yahoo has to push as well.
Equalizes up in 10 seconds. Elyoya paying respect. Probably the timer too close to call, especially with the wave at the top turret. Myrwn has to just sit back and not lose too much more experience. Yike also gets level 6 off that camp.
Yike wants to keep going, but he doesn't have the smite, so has to give it over. I like this aggression from Yike, recognizing the fact that he has the stronger mid-top, so he can look to invade. Jojo continue. It's so fun to watch Jojo, because even when Yike is there, he's still pushing it to the limit with bot lane.
Yeah, there's all-in Grand Starfall as well. Elyoya goes deep, but it's against an Ezreal. Busio takes the easier way out. Now Elyoya committing the ulti for not much gain.
The heal from Busio there, giving Caliste the movement speed, so that Elyoya couldn't get in range, was really, really clutch. And a bit of an overforce. I think the biggest downside from MKOI here is the fact that you lose out on being able to punish Yahoo's lack of a flash. You don't have that Grand Starfall anymore, and now Yahoo's going to have the flash in, what, a minute and a half, and be completely fine in that mid lane.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that invested bot. I think that this bot lane is a very difficult one to gank unless you've done the prerequisite damage I would say, similar to how they set up that dive earlier. But that's a big cooldown invested. KC is going to be taking a sigh of relief knowing that that objective is unavailable. But KC building advantages through their solo lanes. Kyeahoo thanks to the first blood. And top lane, Canna, the first strike with the Rumble, building a very healthy lead in the 1v1.
Well, the question I have for you guys is how much it matters, because we came into the draft saying how important the bottom lane was for MKOI. They have a small lead, only 400 gold, but now with lanes shifting around, it's still a Karma Caitlyn who are 10 CS up at the 8-minute mark.
I mean, I think the fact that Supa was able to pick up the BF sword is really, really nice. If he can transition into the Storm Racer, it's a great spike and allows him to play a lot more aggressive in the team fights with the movement speed from the item and the movement speed from the Karma shields as well. So I think it's a game where Supa can be the main character and can be the carry, but at the same time, a fed Orianna, a fed Rumble, it's a difficult task for any ADC to play into.
Really interesting decision here by KOI. Myrwn actually grouped with the team.
Jack's coming in there, Shells impact, looking for the impact, won't find it. The flash out from Elyoya to get out. The ram jam from Myrwn as well as he's hearing charges away. Shockwave bellows breath. MKOI are making fun of them. Everyone gets out safely.
Nice discipline from MKOI. I like that Myrwn kind of wanted to go in, but the rest of the team had already disengaged. So he didn't send it when he's got the 2-man Ornn ult. He still backed off, buffered the Orianna ult, and they got out with the 3 grubs. It is still a tempo lead for KC, so with that, Kyeahoo is going to get some plates in mid and continue extending that gold lead, but now MKOI want to make a play on Caliste.
Going to send it. He's deep in this wave. Caliste thinks the 1v1 until Elyoya shows up. Good damage on Supa so far.
Great
Barrier pulled out. Arcane shift away. Caliste now goes into Fog of War. MKOI sandwich him now around 2 sides. The spear out, and Supa with the 90 caliber right down the line.
A great cheese from MKOI. They know that after this play, Caliste thinks that MKOI has based, so he can just go and push that top wave and then base himself. But instead, they wait in the bush. They're able to kill him. Caliste knows he's dead. He's not going to burn the flash. He's just going to accept fate.
Now this Caitlyn is scary. BF sword, as you mentioned earlier, on the way back to base. We'll see what the Caitlyn is able to pick up. Yike doing his best to steal what camps away that he can. Dragon spawning in 40 seconds means that we'll see that swap back to bot. Myrwn's TP has now come off cooldown. Canna in the same boat, though, as he goes back to base. I imagine he'll grab the Leandries. Looks like we've mainly just got some components there for Supa with the crit cloak and the 2 daggers. So Elyoya, though, in position to contest the crab. A nice objective to get ahead of the dragon spawning.
So with those items we talked about then, I mean, 3 here for KC. I'm seeing the possibility of this dragon being a really good contest. 15 seconds till it's up. MKOI here with the scuttle first as Alvaro clears out vision. Trying to play the bluff that his jungler's nearby, but Elyoya used that time to go back, get the Sundered Sky. So he's going to match that Protoplasm Harness from Yike. Means both junglers are locked and loaded here as Dragon now spawns.
But it's the bot lane that will continue to get prio for KOI. Mid seems to be a little bit more contested now that Jojo has that first component. It does give you a lot of trading power in the 1 versus 1, but fantastic vision control here from KOI. They can gain no purchase through the bot side, which gives them easy access to the dragon, and then it'll be the second one uncontested.
I mean, bot side is doing a lot of heavy lifting, because when you just look at the items, it is not favored for MKOI. They don't have the item on mid lane, which you'd really want if you're going to fight this dragon, but just with the prio and the vision that they get from the bot side, that allows them to pick up this second dragon. It's going to be a Mountain Soul, which would be absolutely tremendous for the Ornn if MKOI were able to secure it.
On top of that as well, let's not forget, it was the grubs up top that they also got and got out. MKOI with a great objective game so far. It's a KC early game gold lead, but Supa getting a bit of plating there, showing the damage, quick work that the grubs can actually provide as well. It has been, I guess, a really tempered early game, which I think this year and previous years, I'm not used to saying with MKOI, but it's been controlled, it's been well-mannered, and most of all, it has been a great objective game that we're saying is leading them to success.
The big winner for KC through all these map movements was Canna, though. Because the lane assignments from KOI around those grubs, to me, was a bit odd. The fact that they brought Myrwn over, I have to imagine, was so that they had that front line to help them disengage from the objective. But then Jojo was quite late to actually rotate down to bot, opening up the tower for Canna, who just got free access to that tower. Eventually, Jojo goes, but he still can't contest the wave clear of the Rumble. And so what ends up happening is Canna's just pushing. And look at this, 1.5k individual gold lead for him. This Rumble is getting accelerated. And Canna, as a player, especially when we think back to in these high tense situations where he needs to perform, right now he is being set up for success here in game 1.
And I do feel like, again, Canna as a player, when you lead him to success, he will carry for you. He's that kind of top laner and really take over games. But I'm glad you pointed it out, especially because it does feel like now it's starting to bleed into Elyoya's jungle, as we just saw in the Krugs. A lot of pressure there as Elyoya is going to pick bottom side for now, but that's the second ulti we've seen in a row where Elyoya is far from finding a play.
MKOI are a little bit too willing to pull the trigger on the Grand Starfall from Elyoya, which is leading to some wasted ultimates and not as much pressure as you would like to see. And I like what you're saying, Vedi. I think it's pretty clear that it's mid and top for KC versus the bot lane of MKOI, but MKOI want to keep fighting.
Busio found out he wanted to face Jack the triangle brush, but he's not going to be able to do it safely. Supa gets another impale only onto one. It's the Pantheon, but again, Elyoya is fine. Damage not really enough here from Caliste. Even under turret, the Scorpion in trouble. Supa has the range and Elyoya has the spear. Put him on a skewer. Yike for dinner. 4-1 for MKOI.
And MKOI played that so well. Supa dodges the impale. He traps right before Elyoya uses the stun, so that Yike has no counterplay. He gets stunned into immediately trapped. I mean, let's just watch this back and just look at how Supa plays this fight. He starts off by ulting Caliste, chunks him down, and they get a great engage onto Busio. Supa's able to get the Q to take him down, and he spaces back, makes sure that he doesn't get hit by the impale, and then he lays down the trap before the Pantheon W so that there's no escape from Yike.
I will say, Yike missing that flash, he was really bad, though.
Yeah.
I think his game plan was to try and chase CC the Pantheon, but he ends up fumbling the combo. And when you give that much space to Supa, he will happily take advantage of it. MKOI now with a healthy gold lead. We'll see if they can continue to grow it from here.
They're just slowed. Equalizer down. Canna has flash available. Electro Harpoon not going to connect, though. So Jojo does get out of there, has TP to return back to the lane, but it does feel like this game is quickly becoming Canna versus Supa as those gold leads are stacking up.
But it's not just Canna versus Supa, it's Canna versus Supa and Alvaro. He has the Karma, which is so good into the Rumble.
True.
He can always use the Mantra E whenever Canna puts down the Equalizer, making it so much easier for his team to play the fights. But now KC are off to the Herald.
I mean, they are ahead of the play, but there's no Rumble ult available. Myrwn is in the area. There's Pantheon over the wall. They're a little too slow. All right, so the Caitlyn backing meant that they couldn't really contest. I'm looking at that itemization, though, for the Caitlyn, and an Infinity Edge. This feels quite quick for Caitlyn.
I think right now, Supa, when he saw them take the Herald, he's like the crying meme with the money. Because he's just like, he's chilling with those items. He's nearly got the Infinity Edge already at 15 minutes. And now he can just hit mid-tower. Although Canna is not on a ward here.
Alvaro going to sidestep the Electro Harpoon, looking for the tether, gets the flash. As you said, it is Supa and Alvaro, and Canna just learned that.
I mean, a bit of an odd play there from Canna. He had no ulti available to him. His position didn't really lend himself to setting up a play for his team. And there was a bot wave that he could have gone and caught. Instead, he loses his flash. I think the Raptors did actually go the way of Elyoya there, at least the big one.
I think Canna wasn't expecting Alvaro to call his bluff like that.
I guess,
he thought if he was just waiting, and then as soon as Alvaro sees him, Alvaro's going to be like, oh no, he probably has more people behind, and then back off, and then you get a free chunk and proc that first strike. But instead, MKOI are playing incredibly aggressive and really punishing KC where it hurts.
Again, it's been compliments for them, despite the gold lead being pretty inconsequential so far. It's now at least sitting in MKOI's favor, but as Dragon spawns, KC trying to move into River with MKOI looking to defend their position.
Keep your eyes on the minimap and look at Jojo's position. He is looking for a very deep flank. He has been spotted on Vision. He's pinged out. He'll have to dash away.
And remember, Canna just burned his flash. So if Jojo has an angle on the Rumble, he can't go anywhere. Jojo at level 12 might be spotted out as he creeps up towards this brush. Herald's going to be put down to be a battle herald. Yike on top of the Dragon Call. The forward god looking to line KC. 3 members get hit and Dragon disengaged. Busio finds the engage, but no one's there just yet. Onto the Karma. Okay, that's the first kill, but look how exposed. A shockwave into an impale though. Yike saving the play with Yahoo on the back line. Canna will die, but what's it going to cost? KC have won this fight in spades. Everything connected. Every wombo imaginable. It all comes together with a plan for Karmine Corp.
And KC just outplayed mechanically. They find where it hits, and Busio takes the Herald right before he dies. He knocks them up alongside Yike, and it was just a masterclass in how they played that team fight.
A very close affair. My favorite part was Canna recognizing, I will give my life to make sure that my ulti is good. He is marking the Akali on the flank. The ulti from Myrwn doesn't really get followed up. The Herald is dropped, and now they're looking for an angle. Busio goes in, chains the combo, they take Alvaro out of the fight, and then he gets into the Herald to get away. There's that Rumble ultimate, combined with the two-man Skarner ulti, in conjunction with the Rift Herald over the top of them. Just beautiful coordination with kyeahoo at the back as well. Very well played team fight from KC. KOI get 2 back, but they end up losing the drag.
And this is KC's strength. Their team fighting,
Yeah.
how they're able to work together to find the perfect moment. Even though Busio, it started off looking pretty bad, right? He didn't get a huge Nico ult. It wasn't a great setup, but the way that they're able to adapt in these clutch moments and still make the fight work is why they're such a strong
It's
team.
how they beat Giant it's how they 3-0'd them. Some of those early games for Giant were looking fantastic. Then you get into the 5v5s and it all goes to hell in a handbasket. At least Supa still has the damage though for the Spanish fans, as Caliste just got half shot, half health rather. Infinity Edge now picked up. And despite losing the Dragon, remember MKOI still have that Fed 80 carry.
Yeah, Supa did not die in that team fight, so he still has maintained his huge gold lead on Caliste. Caliste at least able to pick up now the Manamune and the Triforce to contest, but still, those are not 2 items that can compare with Stormracer Infinity Edge. This Caitlyn is much, much stronger, and it's going to continue working now towards the rapid fire third to be able to have so much pressure in these standoffs before the fights begin.
Shockwave, hang on, good damage here from kyeahoo, gets the slow down. There's the public execution rather all the way in. kyeahoo shots away from dying. True shot barrage, tags his toe. One more bit of minion damage would seal the deal, but Jojo's going to ulti out before Canna can get there. His flash, no, his equalizer for Jojo to die. Outplayed by kyeahoo and his Orianna, and Canna comes to steal the show as we look towards the edge of Ishtal, and another impale in. Elyoya stuck out as Busio's over the wall. He launches here from Elyoya, trying to get on out, call the Forge God, only onto one, it's onto Busio, the spear will seal the deal. Searing charge from Myrwn as well. We're still fighting around the mid lane as Myrwn's going to take the damage for now. KC finds some success top, but in the bottom lane, or rather mid, Elyoya is able to fight back.
So things are getting chaotic on the Rift. With Jojo down, KC see another opportunity to make a play happen in the middle lane. But kyeahoo doesn't have any resources left, and Elyoya cleverly uses his W to get over the wall and regroup with his team. A good re-engage from Myrwn allows them to find a kill back, all the while Supa secures that mid-tier 1.
I'm starting to learn a little bit more about MKOI's comp, and when they're in a choker against the wall, god damn, it's hard to get through terrain. As here, the bounce back from Elyoya was quite nice.
Yeah, it was very, very difficult to play into Yike up against these walls, but I love what Myrwn does here. Immediately just sends it onto Busio, and then Elyoya hits him with the spear from downtown. And what we're seeing in this game is just both teams, when they see an opportunity, they immediately grasp onto it. There's no indecision, there's no hesitation, and that's why this game, when a pick happens, it happens like that.
Yep.
And that's so nice to watch.
I will say, KC have done a good job of limiting Jojo's impact in this game.
True.
The Orianna, 2 fully completed items. The Rod of Ages is fully stacked. It is a lot harder for this Akali to really have kill threat on the Ori. And so Jojo is not having the same impact, and now they've started moving the Orianna away. A very deep push because of the prio that KC have in mid. They feel pretty safe on the bot side. No TP available for kyeahoo, but with good information as to where MKOI are, they are putting pressure down. Plate secured. kyeahoo, now with Canna at his back, feels very safe.
Myrwn long-range engage almost up and available though, so KC have to pay the respect. They still take the wolves, and they've done their job getting deep vision in the meantime, setting up for this Dragon. There's a good time to reset, get your affairs in order, because in 40 seconds, Dragon number 4 of the game comes up, and those stats need to be denied. Away from an Ornn especially, but away from MKOI. You're a KC fan because they'll be on salt point.
Jojo was able to pick up quite a bit of his own though, able to get that top tower and quite a few plates. So now when he recalls, what are we looking at? A Shadow Flame for him?
Yeah, but I think he's still off. I think that he's still a bit off. I don't think he's been quite able to amass the gold that he needs, because remember, it's a 1.2k gold difference between them right now. Let's see if he has it.
Yes,
oh, wow,
he's got
okay, he did actually get enough. Fair play to Jojo. So that's a pretty big spike, because now the execution threshold of your ultimate becomes that much more lethal. TP now coming in. No wards here for Jojo.
But it was on a control ward, so if KC were to look in that direction in Fog of War, they would have seen it. For KC, they're going to start Dragon. Jojo's angle's still here. Ping's going down on KC's side as well. Elyoya's first into the fight into Busio, but his shield won't defend him. Equalizer flashed away from, and Yike's here once again. On top of Myrwn, while Pop Blossom finds Jojo. He went in, he was eager, but he gets shockwave to death. Yeah, who on a rampage today to open up as KC open up second Dragon 2.
KC held steadfast. They were prepared for the engage from KOI, and they did not break under the pressure. Jojo gets locked down, Elyoya gets chunked out, and this game continues to go the way of KC.
That was a disengaged masterclass from KC. Yike used his E on Myrwn when Myrwn wanted to ulti, but it starts off Elyoya going a little bit too deep, and then you see Myrwn here getting CC'd right before he can recall that orange horn, and then Jojo wants to go in, but he has no CC from his teammates, so it's so easy for KC to just collapse on him and take him down, and that's another Drake for KC and another teamfight win for KC.
Yeah, the Akali committing the flash in a situation like that means that you then don't have the flash for any outplays. Busio recognizes, hey, when you E, I can just follow you with the rocket belt, and once my ult connects, I know exactly where you are. So a very well played fight from KC. You can see that they've been able to swing the momentum of this game comfortably since the last Dragon, and now they've got a real foothold here in game one. A nearly 3k gold lead being generated by Canna in the 1v1. Meanwhile, kyeahoo, level 15, has that level advantage over Jojo, and this Akali, with high expectations out of draft, has been limited in its impact here in game one.
Good job of pulling it. And kyeahoo's had a pretty decent day. I mean, I think his execution with Orianna has been largely clean for a guy that during the regular season got a bit of criticism. EWC qualifier criticism. Going into playoffs, we outranked the other top 3 teams. Their mid laners above them. Jojo, Caps, very easy to do so.
I do think, like, this game, it's been very clear that he knows how Jojo wants to play, and he respects on every window that Jojo's trying to punish. And with that, you then get the other side of Jojo, that he continues to play too aggressive, goes a little bit too much in, and that's when they've punished Jojo, really shut him down. Although at 1.5k gold lead, it isn't insurmountable for Jojo. I do think if he has a good team fight where not the stars align, but everything goes right for MKOI, that they can land their CC, he still does a lot of damage on this Akali.
The problem is, I feel that with KOI's comp, they're trying to play a front-to-back style with the threat of an Akali on the backline, but I think KC's front-to-back is simply better. When you have a Orianna Ezreal with a Skarner in front of you, the game plan becomes very simple. Stand behind your Skarner, track the flanks, ward wherever the Akali is trying to attack you from, and then when Busio sees the angle, you commit the wombo combo. There's so much threat onto the front line, and the truth is that KOI's front line is likely going to fall first. Of course, this Ornn is scary, but right now, Myrwn doesn't really feel to have that same presence or tankiness that the front line of KC currently possess.
I think you can see Supa now building towards the LDR, and that's a really, really big spike for him. I think once MKOI gets that, that's when they can really start to play these front-to-backs much more comfortably, because Supa will just melt through anybody who's in front of him. But up until he gets that, I agree with you, Vedi. I think KC, they do have the advantage. Yike on 3 items. He's able to tank up so much, especially with the protoplasm and the healing and everything. He can really buy a lot of space for KC. So it's a waiting game for MKOI right now.
So we will wait. 2 minutes till the Drake. Baron sits up, Jojo continues playing topside for this push. And just note, even though kyeahoo is 1,500 gold up and 4 kills up, I look at Jojo right now, and he's actually not that far behind in experience, despite going up against a Rod of Ages 10 stack on the Orianna. So Jojo's been doing his due diligence side lanes, is 20 to 30 CS up, and still trying to get towards this level 16, buff up that ulti, and have some more relevancy here in this game. MKOI going to continue playing up towards topside now. It is just lolling about until we get towards that next Dragon, which should decide a bit more of the tempo in this first game of the series.
kyeahoo, I mean, a full item ahead of Jojo. Jojo has to be sitting on a decent amount of gold. He's probably got a component in base, but the damage from Caliste, remember, 0-2 after the laning phase, 3 items finished for him. The gap between him and Supa, obviously, that component does exist, but with the advantage that the Orianna and the Rumble... Oh my god, that's a death cap nearing completion for Canna.
I'm surprised kyeahoo went for the Storm Raider's Surge. No, wait, not Storm Raider's Surge.
The Storm Raider's Surge.
It's Storm Raider's Surge? I'm thinking, what's the rune then?
That's the rune. Storm Raider's Surge.
Yeah, what's the item then?
lost.
Well, now my brain's blanking.
no.
Now my brain's blanking. Because all I can think of is Storm Raider's Surge.
It's very similar, no, the item?
Storm something. It's that.
Guy, it's the same problem I have with public and perfect execution. I just think one's the other. Help me, Jack.
Storm Surge.
Storm
I mean,
Surge.
yeah.
Just
Storm
take
Raider
out
Surge,
Raiders.
Storm
Storm
Surge.
Why do we keep naming things so similar? Like,
Well, I was surprised he went that. I thought he would either go for the Rabin or the Zonias, but I don't have time to talk about that. It's 20 seconds for another dragon.
Yike's found an angle. Maybe he picks up a bit more Shattered Earth. He's not going to be able to close the gap that much further. Caliste jumping forward, though. Blocked by Yike. Dragon's up in 10 seconds, and they do force away MKOI through the mid lane.
The question is, do KOI try to fight this one? Because it's not the soul just yet. They could argue, hey, we are still behind in items, let's wait.
Does that TP tell you? Are they going to go Baron?
I think they do have decent... They don't have great Nash damage. I mean, Caitlyn is okay, but I think it's hard to really pressure the Nash, so unless you get a great engage here from Myrwn, but Jojo's on the flank.
All the Forge God while Dragon's being done. It's flash from Myrwn, finding kyeahoo out in rotation. A searing charge to the heavens, and kyeahoo goes to hell. Flash over the wall. Jojo gets caught out by an impale. He was over eager, and he dies for it. KC get the Dragon in the meanwhile, with Caliste securing as the Arcane chips away. Yike on no HP has to do the same. Getting the Drake, trading 1-for-1 as Jojo got caught to the Scorpion King.
But KC got the Dragon, so MKOI need this Baron Nashor now. They're walking towards it. It's a 4 versus 4, but they're not quite willing to start it, but Supa goes forward.
Finds Busio. Good bit of damage. We'll find out in a second as he just transforms. MKOI not going to start it. They're going to back away, and it goes on. Now on soft point, though, at KC, that's the biggest advantage to net.
Finding a pick like that onto kyeahoo could have been massive, but Jojo over eager, wanting to have impact in this game. kyeahoo clearing out a ward. He's been so respectful, so safe, and then he does not play around the engage that can come through from MKOI. Nice chain CC, but at this point, Jojo, he recognizes with the shield that he can't ult instantly because it won't be enough damage, and that hesitation gives Yike the window to land his ultimate and turn the play around.
Do we give massive credit to Yike for that, for predicting Jojo's going to run right into him?
No,
though?
because he flashed over the wall. Jojo...
Oh, what about this? Shuriken's going to be taking Canna sitting on a blast going. He's overheated. Jojo looking for the angle. True Shot Barrage does tag him, though. Canna runs around the blue buff wall as MKOI group up as 4. Still trying to find a play, an opening here. We ARAM a little bit longer. All it is for a pick to possibly open up this Baron. As we're going to say group, Jojo's going to have to back away, but he doesn't have TP, so he'll have to walk back to lane.
It's a very tense game. It feels like one mistake for either team can be their end. As whoever gets this Nash will, I think, be able to pretty much run away with the game. Both comps have pretty good siege, with the Caitlyn Karma on the MKOI side and then the Astral Nico Orianna. So whoever can get this buff can take down so many of these standing tier 2s.
Shockwave flash. Alvaro almost getting called out. True Shot Barrage getting Supa. An angle here for KC. Shattered Earth from Yike as he gets poked out. Now call the Forge God for the bounce back. Equalizer down. Myrwn gets pulled in, suppressed, but it's a tank. They need a lot of damage as he's hearing charges away from the pull. KC sent it in and Caliste Arcane shift in as well. Good damage onto Myrwn. Now looking for another target. It's Elyoya who's up against the wall. Yike has his perfect target. The jungler of MKOI won't be caught napping though. He puts up a shield. He runs away. MKOI, what have they lost?
Well, now they just forced the Baron. They've got great damage down onto Elyoya. He now has to go back to base. The threat is there. Jojo face-checking, loses half his HP.
Half HP. Arcane Shifter getting us the Shuriken flip down. Myrwn has the searing charge out as well. Yike continues to send it in. With his Ishtal's impact, he doesn't need to find a target. He just needs to scare MKOI as they're going to go back to the Baron for another thought.
A lot of farm is being lost in the bottom lane and the top lane. KC had pressure across the entire map, and now they turn their attention to the Baron once again.
It's a face check. Aegis assault from Elyoya. It needs to be the motion here. As GA is also up and available. KC have pulled off the Baron. Good that Fetty pointed your eyes towards those farm and side lanes. MKOI getting them now, but a lot was still lost. And KC playing with time quite well.
Yeah, it's the farm that was lost for MKOI. That was the biggest thing that's going to hurt them here. A lot of CS lost on both bot and top for Myrwn and Jojo, and nearly 4,000 gold lead for Canna. Although Myrwn is plenty tanky, but the one thing that his build is quite lacking is armor. He went for the Force of Nature, and he went for the Kainic Rooker, and he does have the plated steel caps, but it's still not quite enough. That's why you can see him itemizing so heavily into the armor now, because Caliste has been able to chunk him out so much in these latest team fights. But Supa has picked up the LDR. He has the Vamp Scepter to survive the poke as well. He's nearing full build on this Caitlyn with a Karma to support him. This is really a game where if MKOI is going to win, I think a lot of it rests on Supa's shoulders.
Absolutely. But as you mentioned, KC have just been managing their side waves better.
Yep.
The experience advantage that has been built by KC has largely just come from them catching these waves, pushing them out appropriately, and you can see that Jojo's largely starved himself of gold, not matching in the side lanes. The fact that he hasn't been able to complete the Zhonya's just short of that gold required to complete it, he knows that he's very close, but now there's no way for him to catch. We'll see Canna go back to base. He already has that death cap completed.
I kind of disagree with you. I feel like Jojo's been really good in the side lane despite how behind he's been. Like
up to a point, I agree.
The fact that he's 280 CS, I think, has shown that. And he's like up in XP on Yahoo, or same XP.
Yeah, but I would argue that
that play was bad, though. That play was bad.
I think we're gonna agree.
In any case, the situation that he's in right now, he is a full item still behind Yahoo, who is currently working towards what seems like a death cap. We're seeing a lot of grouping happening up around the mid lane once again. Looking at the mini-map, he's debating whether he goes to side or whether he looks for a contest.
Sending in Grand Star for where? Call the forward, got flash on, Canna finds Jojo with the Pop Blossom as well. Akali found going golden, but what will it cost? Caliste gets a little bit low. He spaces. Jojo tries to bring play back, but it's done. Equalizer, flash in, Pale Myrwn bellows breath, but Elyoya's going to get shockwave into his GA. KC have all the parts falling perfectly for them as Elyoya will flush away from the play. Mantra Inspire needs to be used as TP from KC pulls the tempo back with a winning fight.
The Dragon is up. The TPs have come through. KC have 5 members still alive. It's up to Supa to save this play for KOI.
Elyoya's low. He gets shielded out. Mantra Inspire again from Alvaro. They need the move speed. They need the shields. Busio has an angle. No Pop Blossom, but a Flash Tangle Barbs could help seal it even further. Dragons right there for the tanking, and smart maneuvers in yet another team fight. The KC way enables Mountain Soul in game 1.
And MKOI, they're never able to get that ideal team fight. They keep trying to have Jojo off on the flank, but he's just getting one shot repeatedly. KC now, they have the Soul. Jojo's still dead. Respawn just now, but they know they have the tempo lead. They're going for the Baron Nashor too.
Myrwn is going back to base. The Pantheon is too far away.
Yep.
We look back at the play, and it's this flank coming through from KOI that gets spotted. A flash from Canna, the ultimate from Busio. Their target is clear. Caliste nearly loses his life in the exchange as well. Has to flash away from the play, but it is KC that find the pick. KOI find nothing.
I do have to wonder, though. Jojo had the stopwatch. If he was able to use that on the Nico ult from Busio, that fight could have been completely different. He could have negated all that damage, flashed onto Caliste instead. And it's just these small things, these small moments that define games like this that are so close. It's now been 35 minutes, and the biggest gold lead we've seen has been, what, the current one at 2,000.
Yeah, it really hasn't been much, has it? It's been so back and forth, and it's been a sign of a good series to open up. But it feels like KC, as you alerted to earlier, Jack, the Baron in their hands. And the team with Baron would just be able to slowly close this one out. But let's see how the sieging goes. Jojo's going to play for inner, while waves in order are what KC are trying to do, especially with that inner turret bot side. Jojo gets this, and he's probably going to push in again. He's got TP available for a play with Zhonya's now. Let's see if they can pull anything off.
Really good side laning from Jojo. As long as Supa can put down these traps here and avoid the engage.
There's that TP. Busio fell to Pop Blossom. They're too deep. Call the Force God getting ready to punish him as well. Won't be found. But still, there's one kill into the ground. It's Busio. Myrwn flashed away, but Trisha Bride catches his life. Jojo jumps in, wants revenge for this game, and he finds it. As he goes golden, takes down Yahoo. He needs to hold the Albert against the wall. Waiting was Yike. A double over to Caliste. Okay, it's a 2 for 2, but remember, with the Baron team sieging, the defense means it's successful with MKOI holding fast.
Yeah, MKOI, they negate the Nash play from KC. I love that Jojo pressured them so much by pushing the side lane. That's why Busio thought to himself, I need to engage here. If we don't get a good engage, then Jojo can just take our top inhib. So that's why he goes in, even though it's a little bit too deep. It's a really good disengage from MKOI. Alvaro flashes out, Supa spaces back, and then Myrwn just CCs Busio and they take him down. And then Jojo finally gets a good flank down where he's able to pick up the what? 1,000 gold? 1,000 gold shutdown onto Yahoo. So despite him dying, that's an Akali that now has a lot more gold in her backpack.
Rabadon's on the way, double needlessly large. Rabadon's just picked up by Yahoo as his screen is currently great.
KOI have managed to have a second wind. Elder is now all they need. That's how they can turn this game around.
Yeah.
KC, they over-aggress, and they end up getting punished for it. The gold matters less and less the longer this game goes. Itemization continues to be complete, and we're reaching that point where everyone is 5-6 items, and it'll come down to the team fight play. Supa, massive credit to him. 2-0-2 scoreline. But Caliste has done a good job of coming back into this game as well. These 2 AD carries will become a bigger part of this game, whereas a lot of the focus in the early to mid game has been on these mid laners. Summoner spells will likely be up ahead of the next big fight. That Soul on the side of KC, we'll see how much value it offers them as the Elder Dragon draws ever nearer.
It's all going to come down to one last team fight for this Elder, but thus far KC has shown that they are the better team fighting team. And MKOI now, they're facing an uphill battle. Supa, he has so many items and so much damage, but it's been so difficult for Jojo to actually find his angle in his team fights, find the mark where he can one-shot someone without getting CC'd. We'll have to see if he can complete that Rabadon before the Elder fight, because if he does, that is a tremendous boost to his damage.
Let's see. Again, he's been picking up waves and side lanes. We talked about it before, at least we had a small argument about it before. Level 18 now on the Akali. And it is worth noting that he was behind all game long. That shutdown, he's only 400 in the dirt in a game that is mattering less and less about gold. Canna, obviously, there is almost a 5,000 gold lead in the top lane, but we know Ornn's role in the team fight. He picked up the Proto Belt while we were talking there, so 4th item for him is going to be something that can either close the gap or give him a bit more versatility. And outside of that, we wait. 1:20 till the game-breaking Elder. Baron spawning alongside it is always a question mark if that can be leveraged at some point as well.
I mean, Jack, of the 3 of us, you have the most AD carry experience. If you're Ezra right now, are you really afraid of this Ornn's items? I feel like he looks like paper.
I'm definitely not afraid of Ornn. I think the only person I'm afraid of is Caitlyn, because Caitlyn at 6 items is just a different beast. Like, if she can stack up that headshot, play with it with the rapid fire cannon, especially with the Stormracer proc as well, we'll have to see if he can get a proc of it, but it just does so much damage. I know as the Ezreal this game, if it comes into a fight where both ADCs are auto-attacking, the Caitlyn is really out-DPSing me. So it's about staying more range, being able to just Q, but Jojo's on the flank.
Sure, can flip there, but a Mountain Shield in the way. Equalizer out, Jojo's burning, but Flame Spitter is AoE over the wall. He's going to overheat. Electro Harpoon number 2 comes out, and that's enough damage. Remember, he's got Proto Belt as well. True Shot Barrage going golden as Jojo to buy time, but he is dead. There's no way out. Yes, he's got his ultimate as he flashes away. Wait, I was wrong? He's out for now, but how does the rest of the fight go? Myrwn slowed down, Caliste chasing him down. It looks like he's playing Earth right now as Arcane Shift sends him in for another Mystic Shot, and Busio looks for an angle. MKOI sends away, but Dragon is in 5 seconds, and Jojo has to TP in.
Yeah, Jojo's used everything. His ult is gone. His kill threat is gone. He will TP back into the fight with the Elder spawning now. Casey's position is fantastic.
It begins. Busio, big chunk. The Caitlyn damage Jack was talking about is there. Jojo's over the wall. All he needs is an angle. And
keep your eyes on the ult cooldown. The ult cooldown is the most important thing for the Akali. The Rumbles now back off cooldown now. And here we go. Busio off on the flank as well. Myrwn down to 50%.
He has Flash, he has Pop Blossom, he has an angle if MKOI are grouped up. Jojo looking for a new angle. Alvaro gets tagged by True Shot Barrage. Busio's going to find Jojo there. Pop Blossom only onto 1. Remember, he just used Sonya's equalizer down. Jojo down! Oh man, it's a rough start for the Canadian mid laner in this series as Myrwn's getting tagged out as well like paper. I agree. Busio's looking for a new angle with the tank above. He might just find a double already out. A searing charge into an impale though. And Elder's just exposed. Elyoya came in trying to find a new lease on life, but instead the Elder will drop and Elyoya will get burned mid-flight. It's all but over here for MKOI in game 1 as KC put the finishing touches on the fight.
It is Kyeahoo and Yike with a beautiful Flash Orianna ult that gives Supa his first death of this 40-minute game. And with that, all the towers will fall for MKOI, and they have been routed in game number 1 by superior team fighting from KC.
We set it up as a good day. We set it up as a great day. It's a heated rivalry between Spain and France. It's only the opening game. Not as many kills as there are minutes, but you don't need that. All you need to do is rewind and look at the glorious fight that we experienced. Europe's in awe. Europe's loving it. And game 1 done and dusted. Over to the French is how we begin our series to MSI.
Jojo was simply stifled KC Team 4 beautifully. They lead the series 1-0 up. Well, KC, they chose blue side. KOI chose second pick, so they won that counter pick.
So normal.
We expected, Jack, both Varus and Analyst to stay on the ban list. Our question was, where does my bad. Where does Ash fall on the list?
Okay, Betty.
My bad.
You're okay.
My bad. Wow, they're going to lock in Vi with Casio Ash open.
So I think what they're saying is, if you take both the Ash and the Casio, then we're going to take the Seraphine. And if you leave either the Casio or the Ash, we will take the other.
Because KOI have banned out the Lulu themselves.
Yeah.
Which would be the normal pairing. Nami is still available. Ash Nami still fine?
Ash Nami is pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Okay.
Do you sack? Do you sack and just say Cassiopeia's up?
I think you just go the Ash Seraphine and you give them the Casio and the Vi. But oh, they take away the Anivia instead.
Jojo's Anivia, undefeated, by the way.
Well, remember
LEC.
that this is Myrwn. Flex top.
Yeah.
Oh, it is too. And technically Alvaro, because Alvaro's also been playing it.
In the LEC, we don't really see it in support.
No,
but perhaps today could be the day.
But Alvaro's a real, he cooks a lot in solo queue. So we get Lucian Milio instead.
Deciding not to take away the Seraphine from the Ash that we've seen happen so many times before. So we're getting to see the Ash Seraphine combo. It's what, 22 and 4 or something? Has an absolutely ridiculous win rate.
Good, yeah.
But I've been liking the Lucian Milio a lot recently after Lucian got that E buff, which allows him to get an extra E in early game in the combo and also allows him to max that W second. And we saw Caliste last weekend on the Lucian, and he had a really, really good game on it then as well. And I do think that thus far, there's very little this Lucian really needs to worry about when he's dashing in. He has the Milio cleanse against any of the CC that MKOI has thus far, so unless they get something a little bit stronger to lock him down, I think it's a pretty comfortable game for Caliste to outmaneuver and outplay.
So what's comfortable then? Like Wukong, I see Xin Zhao ban, I see Nocturne ban, I see...
Xin Zhao, Wukong, these champions that have knockups that Milio can't interact with is really, really good.
Wukong ban incoming or what?
I could definitely see a Wukong ban. It's a strong bruiser. Another champion that would be great for MKOI is the Vi, but obviously Casey's already taken that out. So we'll have to see. It's a Vayne ban instead, actually, from Casey.
Because Casey have to blind pick something.
They want to go Gnar.
Probably Gnar, yes. Yeah. So they're worried about the counter pick from Myrwn, and Myrwn cooks. Myrwn has a deep champion pool. Admittedly, in his recent history, hasn't showcased the craziest of champions in the top lane, but if he was going to play them, now would be the time to do so.
Although if Canna goes for the blind pick Gnar, you know what champ we're probably getting from Myrwn? Shyvana, because he's been liking that, and that's kind of spicy.
That's a good predict. Yeah, we haven't seen it from him so far in playoffs, but we did see it during the regular season a bunch. Now the Trundle coming through for KOI. Trundle as a champion right now, I feel like pros and cons. He's really good into short range comps where he can punish. The pillar though, I have to imagine that's quite annoying for the Lucian to deal with.
No, I don't know. I don't think. Maybe I'm just a Trundle hater. I feel like I'm starting to become a Trundle hater. I just don't see. It's really good into the Vi, because whenever the Vi wants to go in, the Trundle will just beat her, and then the 1v1 Trundle is stronger. But as the Lucian, I think the Trundle pillar, it has decent value in like stopping you from dashing in, because if you dash in, the Trundle pillars and just the slow makes it really easy for the rest of MKOI to CC you and lock you up. But as an engage tool this game, I think it has very little value, but I like it as this sort of like disengage and just make the Lucian's life harder in team fights.
Canna Jace, the old Korean top laner special in the meantime. The question is, what are you going to run into this? Because again, Vayne's gone. I don't think you're going to play Gnar into it.
No, I think Jace is good into the Gnar.
Malphite I like a lot here.
Malphite angle.
Into Casio?
Yeah, no. Yeah. If she doesn't have flash, you just ult her.
As long as you're not on the miasma.
I think Shyvana is good too. Oh, you could just go Sion. Sion is kind of boring though, I feel like. It's like it's good, but we all know it's good.
Yeah, we do. Is that they needed a front line, apparently.
So my criticism of Casey's draft is they voluntarily picked the Casio into Ashe and Anivia, which I personally think is a mistake.
Yeah.
So just imagine a scenario where KOI are on the Dragon. how do you get near that dragon, bro? Like, there is a Scion sitting in the brush, holding his axe, waiting for you to come close. Then there is an Anivia wall shepherding you into Scion's axe. And if you then dodge Scion's axe, you've got Anivia's ultimate that's then waiting with an Ash arrow to hit you the second that you go past the wall.
True.
The zone control that exists within KOI's comp is terrifyingly strong, and Lucian Cassio is so short range. You do have the poke that comes through from the Jace, and once the Lucian gets the RFC, then you have that dash in quick chunk of HP trade that you can do in the middle lane. But overall, I think that Ashe plus Anivia is such a powerful zone control comp. I think it's going to be challenging for KC to actually approach objectives if KOI is there first.
I completely agree with you, Vedi. I much prefer this MKOI draft because KC has a weird mishmash of styles. They have the Jace and Lucian that kind of wants to poke, but this isn't really a Lucian Nami, right? This is a Lucian Milio. It's more about the DPS rather than just getting that burst down. And then you're also playing Cassio with very little setup other than the Vi.
Yeah.
And the Vi is going in on her own, on her lonesome, without much follow-up. I think it's difficult for Yike to have a great performance in this game because he has to carry a lot of different roles. He needs to face check, he needs to engage, and he needs to be the follow-up. That's a difficult task for one person to do.
True. Sorry for people at home who I went over the runes, but this is probably more important. 20 and 6 right now is this duo that KC let MKOI get their hands on. And once again in the LEC, there is no better combination in the bottom lane right now. Lucian Miller was a result of our first road trip, coming out from people like Paddock. And I cannot remember the other, I apologize. Sam D, sorry, he did break the curse, so he should get respect. Now we are starting with an invade. Importantly enough, there is a ward here on Elyoya's head. So Yike looks like he might be pathing maybe towards up and goes for a vertical jungle himself. Elyoya gets 2, goes down to Krugs. Let's see what Yike does.
And this is part of the strength of playing this Ashe, Seraphine, Trundle composition. You have an incredibly strong 3v3 and one of the strongest 1v1s in the game. But Yike wants to immediately counter it. Oh, Elyoya.
He backed off because he smited the red buff. He's going to go immediately back into his own jungle. Krugs will reset. Yike is here for it. So trying to threaten rather than vertical jungle himself.
So now the pathing of the junglers becomes awkward. So Yike will be faster on the clear to top side. Elyoya doesn't have prio in top lane, which means that crab should go the way of Yike. Fortunately for him, though, Jojo's able to get this early push against the Cassio. Sidesteps the Q. That is how you get control over the matchup into Cassio. She burns through all of her mana trying to trade with you. And so if you can dodge that Q, then your ability to fight against her infinitely increases.
I think the biggest benefit of Yike going back into his own jungle and forcing Elyoya out there is that you avoid Caliste and Busio being split map and completely weak side.
Very true.
Because otherwise Supa and Alvaro could just play incredibly aggressive, chunk them down, and we could see a repeat of what happened game 1, where Caliste was set really far behind. But instead now, Caliste and Busio, while they're still going to be losing lane, it should be a lot more relaxed for them, and they should be able to just farm up and just go a few CS behind.
Sure what happened in the mid lane in the meanwhile, though, but kyeahoo obviously got some Noxious Blast down, and yep, there once again, Deathfire Touch did a bit of work. We're close to egg. That's kind of how the state of this lane is going, as Jojo's also run out of mana, so he's going to have to back off to the furthest realms near his turret and teleport back in while kyeahoo deals with the wave.
Wave is in a... Yeah, actually, it's not too bad, but it's not ideal for Jojo. Still, though, he's got a lead for now. He can TP back in. And he's going to come back into lane with...
When you say the lead, do you mean the 1 CS lead?
Yeah, he has a lead. What did I say that was incorrect, Jack? Tell me.
Oh, he has a lead.
That's what I thought.
We'll see if he maintains it. Now it's 2 CS, actually.
That is a jungle gank.
Yike's coming in. Crystallize already down. kyeahoo gets to chase him out. Miasma, easy Vault Breaker into the egg immediately. Elyoya's coming to save the play, but I think this one's already gone. He'll stand and hit Yike a bit, put the pillar down as well, but first blood goes over to kyeahoo, and easily, well timed to bully Jojo 2 games in a row.
And kyeahoo got the lead, Vedi. He got the lead.
That he did, Jack. And that lane, by the way, in its worst possible state. And a double crab for Yike as well. I mean, this early game is simply fantastic for KC.
But Elyoya's timing is good. Caliste is fully committed here. Supa gets low, though. What can Elyoya do? On to Busio. Pillars up in the air, but Yike's coming in once again. The fireball kick on Elyoya. Supa gets out, but here's Yike. Gets the flash out of the enemy jungler. Rooted up. It's good onto Caliste, but he won't die either. All 3 members walk away. A lot of summoners were burned.
But it's MKOI that burned the majority of the summoners. Elyoya had to flash, Supa had to flash, and Alvaro used that heal as well. While it was only Busio who had to burn his own. So now, as Yike gets that level 6, it's going to be really, really scary for Supa to walk up or Elyoya to try to face check.
Looks like early game for KC. Really couldn't be going better. Even top lane right now is bullying Kingdom for Canna once again. He gets another matchup versus a tank on another carry. And as Canna gets pushed in here, he's already done damage to a plate. He's looking for the next one here. But he's just farming grass stacks in the meantime as well.
Yeah, I mean, KC really couldn't ask for much better of a start, aside from, you know, just an ace. It's one of those situations where your jungler gets both crabs, you get a kill into mid lane, you burn all of bot summoners, you've just set up so many great opportunities. Now the dragon is alive. So, Caliste now has a lot of agency to actually fight the bot lane a lot more, knowing that he has that summoner spell advantage. He can just afford to burn his barrier in a trade, knowing that, well, you can't barrier back. And his use of the Q is good, and now Caliste finds himself with push, which does enable Vi to start the dragon. Of course, Vi is on the top side of the rift, so it's unlikely that that one's going to start immediately, but it sets them up nicely, KC, to continue pushing with the advantage that they've already been able to gain.
It's really not what you wanted as the MKOI bot lane. You wanted to be the one punishing them in the early game. While the Seraphine does scale up really nicely, a big strength of this Ashe Seraphine is how obnoxious it is to deal with this in the early laning phase. But as you can see, like, Caliste is just landing every single Q, able to poke down both Alvaro and Supa. And even though Yike was on the top side, as you said, Vedi, I think he can just path up to Drake now and they can do it for free.
Find out. I mean, I do feel like, again, the fact that Caliste and Busio have so much freedom in this lane does come down to Yike. Yike, 2 games in a row now, has had pretty decent jungle performances as well. And let's not forget, versus Elyoya, this is a hard task considering that Elyoya's really had this rise up in playoffs as well, especially up against G2. Felt like we're getting some of the old Captain of Spain. It sounds so much worse when I don't say it in Spanish.
Well, we say that, but like we have to remember that in the early game in Game 1, he committed both ults into trying to gank the bot lane Ezreal that just fell short.
That is true.
And we kind of expected there more to be more pressure thrown towards mid lane, especially with kyeahoo not having flash. So I will say that Elyoya, he didn't have a great Game 1. Not that it was necessarily a bad Game 1, but the early game impact that I was kind of expecting him to have wasn't really there, in contrast to Yike Canna that pulled off 2 successful ganks in the early game and had massive impact in the team fights.
And at least in this game, Elyoya has been more around the map. My point being is now he's here. Looking at this jungle head-to-head. Vault Breaker, it's a flash onto Elyoya. Cease and desist, waiting. Use now the pillar. Flash over by kyeahoo with the miasma down. Elyoya getting seared out. Petrifying Gaze does his job. Yike in trouble. No, he Vault Breakers back in with the help of a cozy campfire. KC a warm and cozy inside. It looks great again as they go back to Dragon.
And KC are 4 while MKOI is 3. Supa stayed on the bot wave, still level 5. He didn't move up, so they didn't have the numbers to actually fight back up against KC. And that led to Elyoya's demise, combined with the fact that he didn't have the flash from the previous fight that we talked about. He had no way of getting out from this play, and that's what led Yike to having so much confidence to continue. And that's the first Drake now for KC.
Confidence is the word that I love there. As a flash comes through from Yike, the wall already used from Jojo, he has to take the long way around. But then the arrival of Busio completely changes the dynamic. The extra bit of healing, no Ashe present in the fight. KC simply take advantage of the fact that, hey, you're not allowed to be here, Elyoya. Let me prove why. And they successfully find a punish. 2 kills now for KC, first dragon of the game, and a 1.7k gold lead.
And it's an incredibly worrying trend for MKOI because you picked this Trundle, you picked this Ashe Seraphine to win in the early game. You level 1 invaded, you wanted to get full control of the map, and now Elyoya is down 500 gold. He might be able to pick up all the grubs, at least going to get some of them as a reconciliation prize, but still it's not the early game that you were looking for with this combo.
I mean, I will say, we talked about it in draft, KOI do have a lot of zone control with their composition. As the game continues, I believe it will be harder for KC to contest these objectives, assuming KOI can get position on the objectives. Leverage their zone control, leverage the amount of CC they have. Canna, he will be able to walk away to safety here. So I think that KOI do have late game options. It kind of depends to me on how much of an advantage KC can build with the solid lead that they've already been able to grow.
every single lane at that as well. Kyeahoo having a great day, but also him with Yike, I think, have been working really nicely together. As Yike looks deep again, Elyoya found out on the rotation towards Raptors. Kyeahoo there to respond because he's always had this mid push. Sitting at about a 10 CS lead, a little bit under. But Kyeahoo moves with him. And Yike feels safe knowing that his mid laner can pounce at any time.
Myrwn has stabilized though. When we looked at the matchup at 5 minutes, Canna was up around 400, 500 gold. And that's actually been reduced now to only 300. So quite a big contrast to last game where we saw Canna just build that gold lead up and up and up until he got to near 4,000 gold near the end. So that's a really good sign as Myrwn can be a great tank in this game because there's very little tank healing damage from KC.
At an angle as well. Yike has already Vault Break it. There's the second one. And so Myrwn just holding to nothing. MKOI have done this a lot so far in this series. A lot of commitment when there are just gap closers available. Like the Ezreal, like the Vi there.
A little bit optimistic that one.
He was really hoping that he could drift that one in.
Yeah, that would be crazy if he could do that.
At a 90-degree angle.
Yeah, Yike. He will be able to dash away to safety.
Yeah.
He will. Now the Raptors being contested. Busio, I don't think you can really do much to protect them. Good effort though, supporting your jungler.
True.
Doesn't have the spellbook to smite it away.
It's a shame. Look, this early game. Oh, it's not good, is it? I mean, for MKOI, we did talk about, you know, the layers of their composition. Let's see how it goes around Dragon. First one already went to KC. 2 minutes time. I'm going to be looking at those item spikes, and I am once again going to be looking at... Am I looking at Supa? Am I looking at Jojo? I mean, the
Who are you
problem is
looking
here,
at, Jake?
I'm trying to be optimistic about MKOI here and think about how they approach next strike.
I think you should be.
Okay.
Ultimately, I think that we have an interesting situation where, in my opinion, I might be wrong, but I feel that KOI's team fighting comp is better.
Yeah.
But KC demonstrated better team fighting in game 1. So the question becomes, can KC get around the constraints of their comp, which is mainly that they are a relatively short-range composition.
I do think, I've mentioned a lot how it's pretty bad for MKOI to lose the early game when they're playing this Ashe Seraphine Trundle. And while it is true that when you're locking, especially this Trundle in, you do want to win the early game, that doesn't mean I think that you're getting outscaled. This Ashe Seraphine is still going to have incredibly high value as the game progresses, just due to how much healing and shielding the Seraphine does and how much DPS the Ashe can do. We might have a fight brewing here.
Let's see. Vault Breaker was just used. Yike may be caught on out. 3 members going to turn into 4. Yike flashes away. Blast Cone there as Miasma zones up from Kyeahoo, but they do get Yike's Summoner, and they get a bit of Prio top. But remember, it is Dragon where it's at here. So we'll see if the flashless Yike is worth it in the end.
Yeah, I mean, MKOI, they get the flash, and now they're just going to push out top and presumably base to open up towards that Dragon and then play for it. They could also just choose to stay topside here and drop the Dragon completely. The only thing is I feel like they don't have that much pressure. They can't take the plates, but Canna actually, because he doesn't have any vision for himself, is going to completely respect and be fine. But we'll see if Myrwn is in trouble.
I think Myrwn's not going to pay the respect as well. Back not going to be cancelled. Instead, it's only 2 Yikes here. Myrwn, they're expecting, might just ulti out. Maybe Yike can do it himself with the denting blows. He shreds through the armor. Vault Breaker after Vault Breaker. And there's a hearty shield there from Myrwn as he flashes. So they do get a summoner out in response from the top laner, who's now at half HP. But meanwhile, you said MKOI are going to commit to the top side. Here they are, committing to the turret.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that KOI is completely foregoing the Dragon, but I guess they're arguing...
Oh, my God. Oh, flash hit from Busio right in front. Soccer ball not going to reach. Busio stops the ulti. Dragon's going to go down at the cost of first turret for MKOI.
I mean, he did stop him.
He did.
We'll see if that's the extent of the players. They do threaten a dive, but I do not think that there is a dive here onto this Scion.
This is the power of the Scion that MKOI are using really well here. You see how large of a contrast it is. Scion can just stay both, even when there's 3 people and not have to worry at all. But now Jojo finding
Breaker in vision, decimating smash, cease and desist. The buffer and arrow's going to miss as it comes down, but Yike only just gets out. Here's the encore though. Cozy can't find saves out. Jojo flashes into melee range. Penetrating gaze saves the play from Kyeahoo. MKOI had a bit of follow-up there, and Kyeahoo stares him in the face and says no. Subjugate, flash from Elyoya. Caliste gets out though, and Kyeahoo's still here. Now the Cassiopeia, free range, flashing in, getting those noxious blasts into Twin Fang. Elyoya first to go into the egg as Jojo went in too close again. A horrible day for the the Canadian mid laner as KC pick up 2.
And MKOI overcommitted. They went too deep. They didn't have the CC to actually chase them down. And you see the desperation. Jojo flashes over the wall. Elyoya wants to continue to play with flash. Alvaro flashes in. But Busio with the ultimate, by so much time, KC can kite back. Canna TP's in. But now it's 4 kills for KC. And the game is slipping out of MKOI's grasp.
Yeah, I think that this play is a little overcommittal from Yike. He realizes that the wall is there, so he has to do something. The cleanse will come through to get him to safety. This flash from Jojo I don't hate, but the counter ultimate from kyeahoo is good. At this point, you have to disengage, but no. KOI choose to chase. A flash in from the Trundle was simply too much. Like, Myrwn doesn't have anything. There's nothing for him to contribute in this fight. He needed to base like 2-3 minutes ago, and the fact that they committed so hard was a mistake.
Back off. Oh, too much.
He's right. He is definitely right.
I mean, KC just were happy to take that. At a certain point, you go way too deep. You use too many resources, and KOI, they end up getting punished for it. KC now with a 2k gold lead. That bot tower should hand over some plates, but Canna doing the exact same thing on the cross map.
He's going to get it by himself. Omni Bamboo, by the way, if we just take note of the items. While Grub's being taken by MKOI, gives him a bit of leverage here to push this turret a little bit quicker. Caliste sending it in onto Supa. He's going to kite away. He's culling out. Supa takes the brunt of it, gets healed up, and half HP. Alvaro will see to that while MKOI continue on bot turret.
I think that fight for me, it shows why I'm kind of a Trundle hater. Because I think what this team comp from MKOI really needed, they have such great zone control in the Ashe, Seraphine, and the Anivia, but they needed a champion that goes and really seals it all together. The champ that is the glue for this team comp to make it so that a pick becomes a kill. Because you see how it's so easy for KC to slip out of the chain CC from MKOI, to just kite back and get out of the CC. So it's so difficult for MKOI to actually execute plays.
Arrow quickly cleansed by Busio. Elyoya moved into the mid lane. He's deep again. Subjugate out, but Seasons is going to buffer it. Encore's not bad with decimating punches. Yike, okay. And the trade is going up actually as MKOI are trying to find the trade back onto Canna. He'll get a kill out. It's turned messy, but Caliste, we look at the front of the fight, and Supa is lining them up. A double kill down, and MKOI, the pounds, finally catches the beast.
I mean, what do we expect? It's KOI versus KC, and KOI, just like that, find a beautiful fight. It starts with the Herald, the response from Myrwn, the arrow gets cleansed, and Elyoya, it looks like he's too deep. But this is also the value of the Trundle. Your durability in the midst of the fight, the healing that is constantly coming through from Alvaro as well, was enough to keep him alive. The chase down onto Caliste.
Oh, and Supa now in trouble as well. Noxious Blast connect, Twin Fang and Petrifying Gaze. A death sentence from Medusa. kyeahoo now in the thick of it though. Elyoya is coming in onto Jojo. The pillar saves his life. kyeahoo is still a demon despite MKOI finding the last fight.
Okay, Supa got picked off. I don't know exactly how. Maybe he went for the red buff and then he got picked off. He had a lot of gold in his pockets after that fight. You can see he bought quite a few items there. And I guess I'm wrong. I thought the Trundle wouldn't have much value, but with all the healing and shielding from the Seraphine, you can buy so much time to give them so much more durability. And I think this fight perfectly displays how both team comps want to fight. KC, they just want to kite back and try to maneuver around the zone control and don't give a straight-up fight for MKOI, because if Ashe can just auto-attack, if Anivia can just freeze you and run you down, and Seraphine healing and shielding, they have all the cards to actually win in these team fights. As Supa, he was recalling on a ward.
He had no idea.
This is a classic. I mean, this is not even his bad. Like, I understand. You know,
You like the sus behavior as well. He's trying to pretend he's walking up river, choose another bush just in case. And then it is an execution. Jojo also was in a bit of trouble without a Trundle Pillar to save his life. kyeahoo's up, 1,300 gold. So is Canna. Solo lanes of KC again versus bot lane again of MKOI.
Yeah, so game state-wise, what does this actually mean? Well, KOI got a nice injection of gold, and so their carries are in a much better position. Now, when it comes to contesting these objectives, we get to see the strength of KOI's comp. It slows KC down. That's one of the most important things, because KOI needed that breather. They needed to stop KC from accelerating the game, and with Third Dragon going their way, we now find ourselves in an interesting mid-game, because KC do still have the advantage with kyeahoo sitting on a lot of gold, similar to Canna. But the question becomes, can they close the gap against this KOI comp? Because they have a real risk with the amount of utility that KOI have of fumbling the execution of those cards.
close call here. Busio just narrowly avoids it. Up, Caliste down. So arrows down for a little bit.
I love what you're saying, Vedi. Something else that I think is interesting to point out is the fact that Busio decided to go for the Mikhails, which is completely reasonable, right? He's playing against Ashe, Seraphine, and Nivea. There's so much CC. But what this means is that Alvaro was able to just go for the Echoes of Helia instead, which is just such a stronger actual fighting combat item, giving him so much more healing and shielding than Busio can actually provide in these team fights. So if Alvaro can play slower fights where the Ashe can auto-attack and everything kind of goes how MKOI wants it, I think that's where you really see the Seraphine and the Ashe shine truly.
It is pretty difficult for Supa to land an ult.
That's true. And even if he does, it's either going to get melee ulted
exactly.
or Mikhail.
It is. So, yeah, but hey, he's going to have to use it at some point.
Damage.
And there's that poke now coming through from Canna.
A Yike Vault Breaker. Is he going to do it? That turret, minimal HP, going to go down.
Yeah,
Myrwn is on a flank here, very deep. They could look to collapse on it.
They are indeed. Maybe get the
ulti
ulti out.
To Myrwn. What about the middle lane?
Let's see. Pillars out onto Caliste, but he's fine. The arrow's going to hit Busio. He holds on for a little bit. He's still got his heal, but he's stunned up. Doesn't get to move. The layering of CC from MKOI shown once again as mid-turret for the siege, while Myrwn was the chase in top.
Well, we call him Supa, but we might have to call him Legolas after that one. Getting the arrow onto Busio there. Busio thought Caliste would tank it, so that's why he Mikhails onto Caliste, and then once Busio gets CC'd, that means he can't ulti himself, so then he gets CC chained and dies.
Yeah, good spot there. Really, he did trust Caliste way too much. He thought, you tank, I cleanse, we'll be fine.
Killer. Yeah, who found out? That's a TP
now look
deep
at that.
in enemy
Look
line.
at that map. The zone control that comes. There's a pillar, a wall, and a Nivea ultimate. You get zoned off that space. You have to concede this area of the map. And this is the strength of KOI's comp that we were talking about earlier. Conceding the mid game, it was about how much could KC accelerate it, but that one fight in mid slowed things down, and now KOI is really coming online with that comp.
But it's funny that you say the strength, because I feel like that looks like a weakness. Like, that looks like kyeahoo was caught, and you would at least get his flash. And Myrwn even TP'd, thinking it was going to be a
face checking. Wait. Cozy can't fire down. Supa thinking about what he can do over the wall. There's Myrwn to zone out as well. Roar of the Slayer slowed down. Cozy campfire gets him out of dodge. He had the barrier flash. Meanwhile, there's a Vault Breaker and a dead Elyoya. They were looking for a pick on Canna as the turret went down, but Canna had his jungler by his side.
Mid tower will go down the way of KOI, but KC keep their AD carry alive, and they successfully find a pick on the bottom lane as KOI was trying to force a pick onto Canna. Jojo now, has he been spotted?
Does he have the damage to one-shot Canna?
No, he does not.
Busio's also
and
on a
they
ward.
spotted Busio, so they're just going to have to give this one up. I would say the downside for KC, was that kyeahoo did use his TP. He TP'd towards bot lane. He thought a bigger fight was going to happen. It didn't, so he didn't really get a ton of value out of it. But fortunately, in terms of the overall map state, KC's still in a good spot. What was an even gold state now goes the way of KC, with a lot of the gold advantage sitting on Canna. Level 15 on the Jace, 2 items completed. I imagine on his base, he will look to complete his third, and he is very much Korean Jace right now.
Yes, indeed. Both times, Canna coming out of lane with a massive lead and then accelerating that quite a bit. Here in this game, let's find out how he approaches these objectives, because as we said, for MKOI, it seems pretty strategic. It seems pretty straightforward, right? Running to this next objective, they'll be down a little bit of gold. Canna's running in now with kyeahoo on the side. Miasma down, Noxious Blast, and the damage he flashes. Doesn't have the ulti up, the chase down is unrelenting from this Cassiopeia, but they just got to summon it from the top laner. They get bot pressure here on KC as well, and it doesn't look like they're losing that much across the map.
MKOI, they have no actual counterplay here. No cross map. Yeah, that.
Traffic cone.
Traffic cone. Caliste needs to be wary and give up the mid prio, but he will do so willingly. It is the Ocean Dragon spawning in 10 seconds, and MKOI have full control of the area. We'll have to see how KC enter. Yike is quite far away.
Myrwn actually hasn't based yet. He's at about 50% HP. Khan has kept the pressure up. He wants to have enough gold to complete that item. But in doing so, can he get back in time? He has the TP, and here it goes.
I mean, this could be dangerous. Myrwn, as you said, at half HP. With his ulti, it has to be a big one. Dragon's going to be taken down by MKOI. Okay, no contest, but now getting out. Miasma down, lay it down. Culling as well, interrupted by the pillar. MKOI group up as 5, but now kyeahoo gets flashed on. He's a target. Petrify goes only onto 1. Meanwhile, Yike comes in to save the day. Caliste running into a Scion. Myrwn gets a stun up. The Encore's big as well. MKOI will not disband. They're staying as a group, but Elyoya didn't get the mission objective. A 1-for-1 so far as kyeahoo runs at them. So does the Jace damage as well. KC is starting to win the fight. MKOI had one job. Stay group, pick a target, but KC disrupted them, pulled them apart, and are looking juicy for a second game in a row.
It's a masterclass in team fighting from KC. The patience that they have, they pull MKOI apart. And once they see a weakness, they pounce. They take down Elyoya, and just after that, Yike knows he can go in. They can take down Supa, and with that, KC are going to take the Baron Nashor.
Excellent patience from what felt like a very difficult fight. kyeahoo is on the flank and he's getting collapsed on. The Scion is tanking up so much of the damage, but the flash onto kyeahoo, his ulti then gets sidestepped. It's looking dire, but the key moment is here. As Caliste is able to flash away to safety, Elyoya gets isolated. That is the go signal for Yike, and now there's no one to protect the Ashe. Yike then ultis onto him. I mean, really good target focus from Yike. The Q onto Elyoya, the ulti onto Supa. With them gone, it just becomes a matter of cleanup.
Because the difference today that we've seen is that KC in the 5v5s are just outclassing MKOI so far. You know, we come out of the early game, we see conditions, we see, you know, the bounce back that we saw on bot side 5-10 minutes ago. But now we sit in a 4K gold lead in Baron. We sit after a KC destructive fight that puts their solo lanes even further ahead. Yet again, Canna is almost 4,000 gold up. Yet again, kyeahoo is doing a lot better than Jojo today and showing up as the better mid.
Yeah, I think kyeahoo and Yike are just having great series.
They are too,
They're having really good target focus, good impact in the team fights, and you're just kind of relying on Caliste and Canna to do their job, which is exactly what they have been doing, and that is do damage. They've been very good at doing exactly that. Now with the Baron, KC will begin their siege. The good news for KOI is they deny Soul Point, and with Anivia, they have a lot of wave clear available to them. There is the split push threat of Canna always present, but right now he's sitting in the mid lane. They're creating a 4-1 setup. But again, the Anivia wave clear is proving a thorn in the side of KC.
I want to say for MKOI, if Supa can get uptime, I see 3 items. I see an Infinity Edge. We talked a lot about MKOI, and I'm just going to use the word ease of execution, or maybe easier execution. We came out of draft saying we prefer MKOI's draft.
I think KC are just maneuvering really well around the MKOI draft. They're not going, like you see that Drake fight, if KC go too fast in there, that is just clean up city for Ashe Seraphine. Like Ashe can just kill whoever goes in, they one-shot the Vi, but it's by being so patient, it's super difficult for Supa to ever get a carry.
Flash season assist, no reaction from Supa. The encore to save his life, not indeed. Caliste opens up with the kill, decimating smash. A good angle though, but even under turret, KC are unrelenting. That turret is now gone. The culling now out. Subjugate through, the crystallizer stop the play, but kyeahoo is next in line. Petrifying gaze onto the tank sign, and Yike's back in action. He won't be needed though, because the poke, the follow-up is KC's doing.
Patience is sometimes what you need, but aggression and pinpoint accuracy can also come hand in hand. Great engage from Yike, recognizing that Supa just wouldn't be able to react in time. Flash, ulti, lockdown onto Supa. Caliste was there to deal the damage. KC find themselves a kill, they find the bot tower, and they are accelerating game 2 their way.
Baron's going to give it away. Baron's going to give it away, though.
I'm super curious with this replay, because I feel like we never see this combo. It's Yike ulting and then flashing to give Supa no chance to react. And then it was the Cassiopeia W as well that he couldn't flash out of. So Supa really had no way to play around it, and then KC could just run them down after that. Like, I will say MKOI, they didn't get lucky coming out of this, but you easily could imagine if KC had a little bit more going, they get 1 or 2 more kills, this would be the end of the game for MKOI.
Yeah, it does feel like we're headed towards that anyway. Yes, Dragon Soul's been stopped. 25 seconds, it feels like KC are going to get the next one. 6,000 gold 4,500 is again on that top lane, and I want to stress the fact that he is 1 item away from a full build. 7 stacks on those Omnivamp boots as well. So Canna's having a great game. We need to question, how does the poke fit into this mismatch of a
I mean, if you're 4,000 gold ahead, suddenly
poke
you
is
are
poke.
the poke up,
Yeah,
you know, like.
you feel like 3 people. Yeah, who want to flank? Level 16. This is the dragon that MKOI want to take away and keep game 2 alive. They are fighting at a disadvantage. Jojo at an angle, wondering, where's this Cassiopeia? Put the Glacial Storm down, Flash Frost. Yike is found out, cease and desist again. Yahoo comes in from the back, whittling away Jojo. Yes, they get Yike though, as Yahoo has to flash into the egg, slows things down, but the jungler is dead. A breath of fresh air as Elyoya gets spaced out by Caliste, but Dragon now a possibility as KC did this time go a bit fast.
That's exactly what MKOI needed. If Yike makes one mistake, this comp is so volatile, and he is really the one brick that is holding this whole house together for KC. If he falls, the rest of their champions don't really have any agency, and with that, it's a 3rd dragon for MKOI, and there's hope at the end of the tunnel.
If we get a replay, oh, Jojo, he's going to stay for an extra wave. Could this be Yahoo's angle of attack?
He used the Q, that's really the goal.
The Viper lies in wait, hoping for a face check, won't get it. And he's going to play smart. Yahoo going to back off. So watch the wall from Jojo, because this is the most important piece of the puzzle. When the collapse is coming through from KC on multiple sides, Jojo recognizes the flank is there, gets engaged on, a quick flash from him, and then look at this wall right here. Completely cuts them off.
Wow.
Caliste cannot follow up. They're completely isolated from the rest of the team, and I don't think that the engage is bad, but again, that CC really came to fruition, and zone control of KOI's comp, where when you play in that choke point, they actually have a lot of tools available to them.
It's exactly what MKOI needs. If they can kite back the initial engage from KC, and then regroup with the Seraphine and Ashe, they have so much damage on these carries that they can easily win any sort of team fight. It's just that KC has been outmaneuvering them thus far, but we see how easily the balance can really swing if one thing goes wrong.
That Jace is level 18, 4 items. I feel like a Shock Blast on this level 14 Ashe is going to knock her down to, what, like, at least 50%.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Now I want to see it.
Because you're not the Ashe.
Yeah, I'm not the Ashe. And then it's like, when I'm thinking of my solo queue games where that would happen to me, and it's like, oh, it's not just me.
I mean, he has so much lethality, and there's 82 base armor on the Ashe.
Are you trying to do the math here?
Yeah, I mean, he's got...
Okay, we just saw it on Seraphine. It was not that much.
Okay.
It was a lot, but not that much.
Well, we're building up towards that point where Canna, his poke is... Oh,
okay, that was a bit more.
Alvaro press W quick. Yikes on the way in with GA and Flash. He's not going to pull the trigger now, but that's going to give time for MKOI's bottom lane to heal up. Baron is a thought with all that poke as Canna holds the choke to make sure MKOI are warded off.
All right, will the Baron start? Looks like no. This is KOI's opportunity to push in the mid wave. Caliste is there to answer, though. Can't overstep too much because the Anivia wall is a threat. There's the E back up, though. Sadby thrown out from Caliste.
Yike angle again, though. He's always fishing.
He's going to get spotted out on that control ward, though.
I think he knows it's there, but he wants to clear it. He knows that they don't really have anything to go on him. So he's just going to clear
bot wave. Jack, look at this bot wave.
That's a huge bot wave.
Who has TP right now? Canna doesn't. Yeah, who does? So he's going to have to be the... He's top lane right now.
They want the wave that badly.
I mean, they're putting pressure. They're putting pressure. The top wave, though, for KC, no one is responding to that. Someone's going to go catch that wave ASAP. Looks like it's going to be Jojo.
That handle was kind of random. I don't know.
But, I mean, I guess low cooldown, right? We're still like 30, 40.
It's not a huge loss.
But it's just, yeah.
I don't know what the play was.
I guess he just wanted to fast clear the wave so that they could give KOI a cleaner back.
Yeah.
Would be my idea.
Okay. Maybe, yeah.
He went Knight's Bout third, by the way. So Myrwn definitely putting the eggs in what I would assume is the super basket. I haven't seen attachments yet. He didn't click on him, though. There's no arrow pointing. I don't know how it works in Spectator, but I would assume maybe saving it for the fight to see. But either way, Knight's Bout.
No, he just used it right there.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, just there. He put it onto Supa.
Okay, there you go.
Supa's 4 items. Has a gold lead still on Caliste. Very, very strong on this Ashe. And the biggest threat he really needs to worry about is the Jace poke and the Vi ultimate. So if they can start a fight before Canna has had time to prepare and poke them down, then it's really only allowed not giving Yike the angle to go in. Because if you're positioned well as the Ashe, and Yike goes too deep, we've seen what happened before, Jojo can just wall off the follow-up, and then they can one-shot Yike and kite them out.
Well, Baron still sits 45 seconds to the Drake. Soul point here for MKOI. KC need to interrupt. All on the line in this best of 5. Momentum here for KC would be everything. Being 2-0 up against MKOI, they'd be one step closer to their first MSI.
Infinity Edge on Caliste. That's a big spike for him. He's going to be doing not as much damage as Supa in the DPS department, but certainly in the burst. Caliste can now compete. We'll have to see. It's going to come down to the team fights, as this series has thus far. And we've seen KC with great team fighting. But the ease of execution, I do still think, lies with MKOI, as long as they're the ones in control. And they have control of the Dragon. It's spawning in 5 seconds.
The in. Canna's joining. I'm wondering if he got his last item.
Melt it. I think they genuinely just try to melt it.
Supa gets hit hard. No last item there from Canna, but it's enough damage. They're melting it, as you said. Ocean Soul on the line. 4, 3, 2. Yike flashes in. Cease and desist nearby. And then the petrifying gaze. Dragon goes down to the trundle, but MKOI, they've been routed from all sides. Yahoo is untouched and gets the free fire, the Fang after Fang. Meanwhile, Canna took down a petty Seraphine with 3 in the dirt. KC again, team fighting masterclass.
The cost of rushing the Dragon meant that you had no room to set up. The focus was tunneled on securing the Soul, and KC had the perfect setup. Yahoo on the flank, the target focus from Yike was excellent once again, and now KC have the Nexus in their eyes.
They need to stay alive. Myrwn's going to flash away. Caliste will step up to the plate, but Inhibitor at bare minimum going down. 15 seconds for Supa. Can KC end? Miasma down. Yike has Myrwn in the ground. That was easily done. KC on now on the Nexus turret. One already dropping down. Myrwn gets out of zombie form. Elyoya's left alone. They're trying to buy time for Supa, but the minion wave's coming in. KC close to being on the door of a series win for MSI and for finals. MKOI came in today looking for revenge, but it looks like KC had their number as 3 come up. Petrifying gaze again. Yahoo over Jojo today has been easy to say.
And MKOI did a trade we've seen many times. It's the Soul for the Nexus. KC played the fight better, as they have all game, and will take the series to match point.
Now, it's the last opportunity that where MKOI can do it. If you look at the drafts, we know that MKOI is going to have that last pick, this ability to counter pick wherever they can. If the cohesion doesn't come from the team play, how do you make sure that you have the right tools to execute?
I mean, you said it, Finn. I mean, you need Alvaro on engage. We saw him on the Karma. We saw him on the Seraphine. I don't like it. I don't like it. I want to see, like, Nautilus is still up and available. Psych, it's banned. But there is still Rel. There's still Syra Khan you can go for. I think Syra Khan goes up a lot in Trio, especially when Caitlyn, Ezreal, Ashe are all out. These long-range AD carries that make laning phase for Syra Khan real difficult are out. So that is something I'm looking for MKOI, but KC is now looking
they're
for
showing
the
the
first
Rel. They
pick.
know that they're throwing them a little
They're
curveball
taunting a
here.
little bit,
Come on, hold my hand. I'm going to show you what you need to win this game. But it is rough, because now it's a new opportunity for them to just show that they do know what they need to do.
And you see the scouting from KC. They've banned Nocturne every single game.
Ooh,
A
TF
champion
first
has
pick.
been so good for all of MKOI, as now KC's went for TF first pick. I have to imagine that is a flex between Canna and Yahoo.
Yeah.
Giving them some opinions, but that's not what I wanted to see,
That's not
Alvaro.
what
That's
we
a
wanted to
Name.
No.
I don't like it. I mean, it's a strong lane once again. Like Supa and Alvaro, laning phase wise, has looked really good, and Korkiname is a very oppressive laning phase combination. But we need to see them draft a little bit stronger lanes now for Jojopyun and Myrwn, because both game 1 and game 2, both Myrwn and Jojopyun didn't really have huge impacts on their champions.
They're going for these execution-heavy team comps, and when you pick Korkiname, especially when they show you TF on first pick, it just further amplifies TF's strength, because right now when it comes to overall team comp, you still have the Yunara Lulu, which is very happy into this Korkiname. It will scale well.
Whoa.
That's a flex. Now they're gonna keep the Yasuo flex into the TF, no matter where the TF goes.
So hear me out. You have this Yasuo flex and you have last pick. My big question for this draft is, will the Yasuo find the TF? Because more often than not, it was Canna who was playing this TF. Now, I don't know if Myrwn plays the Yasuo. But
LEC Winter Finals 2024. He picked it against Broken Blade, and it was the only game they won in that series.
There you go. That's
In
some
his
trust.
draft.
receipts. There we go. But
what do you ban now?
So they're banning the Renekton because they want to, I guess, deny these really strong bruisers that make life hard for Yasuo when it dives into the team fights, because realistically you're looking to pick some kind of setup for the Yasuo on a 4-5, either from your mid laner or your jungler now, or your top laner, depending on where the Yasuo goes. And when Yasuo goes in, he really doesn't like champions like Renekton, Olaf, things that just hit him when he goes deep.
Yeah, on the side of KC, they just here, they want to take away these team fight enhancers, these champions that are able to start team fights. So I'm thinking of champions like Lee Sin and Wukong, and was that the... Wait, that's not the Mr. Ban, never mind. I was looking at the completely wrong thing. But yeah, they want to take away this power from the Yasuo, because when you have a champion as polarizing as him, you want to make the whole team comp around them. So you have the Nami already, and I'm thinking that Wukong might be coming through later.
Yeah, I mean, I think important for MKOI is picking a jungler that can support their lanes. Like, Corki Nami wants to play really aggressive. Yasuo always wants to be able to fight. You cannot pick a selfish jungler here for MKOI. You need to pick some kind of facilitator. Now, Skarner is out. I'm not sure, like, Xin Zhao is an obvious option. It's still up and available. It's a small knockup for Yasuo. Malphite jungle could be something you could look for if you really want to as well. Has lost a little bit of its flavor in the meta, but you need some kind of setup or aid to this Yasuo so you can shine.
Exactly, and I'm pretty sure they're going to pick the jungler here, because this Flex will be going to the 5th pick. It will answer a lot of our question, and the Wukong. Now, it does make sense with the Yasuo, but I am concerned a little bit when it comes to the overall power, because I don't know if they're going to be having winning 2v2, because when you have this Yasuo, you want to make sure that any fight needs to happen around them, that any fight is winning, because he is the one who will win or lose you this game.
Yeah. I mean, especially you need to make sure Nami is included in this fight, because Wukong is not really strong until level 6. So those first 6 levels have to go really quite well for MKOI to allow them to set up their combination. Quite an obvious Xin Zhao here, lock in for Yike, most likely.
It's such a good pick.
It's really good with the Lulu, really easy to play into the Yasuo. There's no projectiles, they can just dash on the Yasuo and knock him up to kind of shut him down.
There's just so much disruption from the side of KC, even without seeing MKOI's last pick, what I do fear for MKOI, that they won't be able to find this sort of fight, just because you rely so much on Wukong by himself without any sort of aid from the support to find this snap engage, to find this incredible angle, and we already saw it in game 1. When Jojo had this responsibility, it just wasn't going to happen, because KC and the cannon is coming through.
I mean, Gragas top, I think, is really good. Ni?
Okay,
top lane Annie, I think, into the cannon.
That's wild. That's such a good matchup. I remember when I was at Worlds in, I think it was 2016 or so, I was playing against Looper, and Annie was absolutely destroying me when I was playing cannon. When I was playing the Gnar, wait. Okay, the swaps will be coming through. I was getting excited for the cannon ADC right there.
We're playing ping pong right now in draft.
Okay, Finn, thoughts going into this game.
I mean, I'm really surprised that Annie ends up going mid. I thought it would be Annie top into cannon. It's actually something that Myrwn has played in the past, but Yasuo into cannon a little bit trickier than the TF. Yeah, that's what we expected.
Yeah, we want the Annie into the cannon. I feel like the cannon is going to be struggling this game, but the question will be about the Yasuo.
And so far, it has been the blue wall on top, 2-0 here in this series. Let's see if MKOI can make it happen. Let's see if this draft save their chances to make it to MSI.
Reverse sweep or going home in a 3-0 for KC. The grudge match, the revenge match. Kometo would have it in spades over Ibai. There would be no competition whatsoever. And for the first time ever, KC would be going to MSI. Reverse sweep, someone just made that sign because they had to edit it with how badly MKOI got stopped in the first 2 games.
And I mean, KOI are pulling out all the stops in this game number 3 draft. Yasuo for Jojopyun, he hasn't had a good series thus far.
No.
And Yasuo is a champion. If you have a bad game, you have a very bad game. So we really need to see Jojo step up for KOI if they want to try to make this reverse sweep happen. And then we also have Myrwn on the Annie top, which you weren't surprised at all by, Vedi. I was kind of surprised.
So I just, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, that's a Myrwn pick. And yeah, I think it's good into Cannon? What? Brain. Cannon, yes. The reason why is Annie will outrange the Cannon, and it is just very difficult for the Cannon to really get good trades into Annie. And also Ignite.
Yeah.
So basically Myrwn, especially once he gets 6, will have real kill threat in this matchup. And so you look at his positioning in the wave right now. He's kind of standing in the midst of the melee minions, knowing that he can threaten the stun should Canna overextend. And this will be the first time in this series, I feel, that Myrwn actually has a matchup where he gets to play the lane.
Yeah, and I also think later on in team fights, Annie can just mark the cannon. So whenever the cannon wants to go for a flank, Annie just stuns him, one-shots him, or just zones him out of the fight that way. So it should be a lot harder for Canna to find some of those flanks that you otherwise would see on the cannon.
Now remember, Myrwn has only played one game ever in his competitive career, otherwise on this Annie top. It was against Canna, it was against Canna's Na, and it was a loss. So,
I think I remember that.
built Rod of Ages, Rylai's last time around.
I think he was completely useless in that game.
I mean, yeah, look, we're gonna have to
But I
see
think
a
in
bit
this
more.
game, he is set up for a lot more success. Because when he was playing the Annie into the Gnar, it's very clear that eventually, once the Gnar gets MR, gets the Merc Treads, that it gets hard for the Annie to ever match him outside. But I don't think you really have that worry at all this game. Like the cannon, if the cannon buys MR, the cannon is useless, right? He needs to continue buying damage to be useful in team fights. So I think Myrwn can have much more pressure in this game and later on as well.
Alvaro, first checking here, Caliste cancels his back, gets good trade down, Alvaro in trouble, flashes away, won't be matched by Caliste. They get the summoner out of the Nami, and Alvaro again here on this Enchanter is going to have to burn the summoner early.
Yeah, I mean, we've been looking for Alvaro to try to get some of these engaged champions that he's been so good on to try to bring this series back. Because I think it's been something that KOI's been missing, and especially the MKOI bot lane has been good, but they haven't had the impact needed to actually carry MKOI.
I mean, again, it feels like anyone you ask, and thanks to RFT.GG, that engage on Alvaro is just the way to find success. And here in this series, it has been Enchanter after Enchanter. And while he has been, I guess, more successful than some in the Enchanter meta, it's where he flourishes on things like the Nautilus, which we saw only last week, that you get the best of Alvaro.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that the bot lane has kind of been the shining light of KOI so far in this series. Like, Supa's been able to successfully be a threat in every single game. We'll see if he can emulate that performance again here in Game 3. But, yeah, I mean, if they bring it back to a Game 4, eventually those engaged supports are going to matter as Supa goes for a fight.
Caliste still going to take it, though. Alvaro just burned his flash, so he can't get caught napping. Caliste at half HP, and Supa with an aggressive trade makes Caliste remember the damage.
Yeah, I love what you're saying, Betty, because it's not really, when we talk about Alvaro on the Enchanters versus the Engage, it's not about the laning phase. It's not that Alvaro can't play these range champs, but Jojo might be in trouble here.
Might indeed. Sweeping blade through. Kyeahoo comes in, gets the stun with the gold card, knocked in the air with Wind becomes lightning. Gets a little bit of wind himself as Elyoya goes into clone, tries to find an angle, but it's a level 4 Wukong. And outside of the ignite coming through from Jojo and burning his flash, not much else will happen. In. Okay, never mind. Wukong anyway. Gold card and yeah, ambitious, but they do a bit of damage on Yike.
Yeah, they test the waters there. Looks like nothing will resolve as a result. Double flashes gone. Ignite used by Jojo. I just realized double ignite. Wow, okay. So the side lanes are going to be challenging for KOI later on.
Yeah,
true.
They will likely be forced to overgroup unless they try and attack the side lanes, which is a strategy we've seen used against TF before. But for now, the first gank from Yike didn't result in a kill, which is a big difference from the first 2 games so far in this series.
This is an improvement. Jojo still hasn't died as well, so that makes it easier. And he does have a healthy CS lead up against the TF, but TF with the passive still has a slight gold lead for himself. But overall, it's certainly a better early game from MKOI than we've seen. Actually, I guess we saw a good early game, game 1. Early game 1 was a good early game. It's really been about the team fights, which if we were to bring it back to Alvaro, it's about the teamfight presence that he brings on these engaged champs as Jojo is in trouble again.
No flash, sweeping blade going to get Jojo out, but 3 talent strike sends him in the air with a gold card laid and first blood. Give it over to Kyeahoo. Just like that, Yike's there to punish.
So I feel like this is, it's just such an effective strategy against mid laners. They don't have flash, just gank. Like, what is the Yasuo going to do? The thing he has to hold on to his wind wall to be afraid of the stun. Ooh, polymorph.
Super in trouble, Valkyrie out.
Good trades, once again, from the KC bot lane.
Heal from Alvaro for that.
So, Yunara Lulu, they are 10 CSO.
Yeah.
That doesn't look ideal, Jack.
No. But it's not the end of the world. But it's also, yeah, it's not ideal. I mean, the thing with Yunara Lulu is in the longer extended all-ins, they're always going to be stronger than the Corki Nami, while Corki Nami really wants to just burst you down. And up until Corki gets some items, he doesn't quite have the damage, just the base damage, to actually win the trade. So I do think as Supa and Alvaro are able to pick up some items, it should get a little bit easier for them. But then on the cross side, you have the level 6 spike, which is quite a bit bigger for Caliste and Busio. And I've always been a bigger fan of the Yunara Lulu matchup between the two. I just think it scales more linearly.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't feel like it has any real troughs or any real downtime. It's just always good in the game. But I feel like with Corki and Nami, you really need to have the right conditions, get a really good poke, maybe get a slight item advantage so you can get the Trinity Force early, or get the Myrwn mana stacked faster. It feels like you need more things to go your way to really get that Corki online.
I feel like, again, Lulu's been in a great spot for a long time. Kind of thinking about slicing Maelstrom. I'm going to pull it out against Myrwn, stunned up, and Yike just flies in. 3 Talon Strike knockup, and the wind again. Yike is everywhere, and once again putting on a jungle show.
The timing was perfect there for Yike, because Canna throwing out his ultimate just as Myrwn used his stun. He only got to 2 stacks.
Supa doesn't have a big one anymore. Busio doesn't have the ulti, but MKOI unable to punish.
And this is double Ignite solo lanes from MKOI, who have both died now, which is a tragic start when you can clearly see that both of them had in mind that they wanted to try to bully in this early game, get a lead for themselves, really utilize this Ignite, because you're giving up a lot when you choose to not go for this teleport, like Vedi said earlier. The side lanes, especially the fact that they have the TF ult on top of the double TP, will be really, really difficult for MKOI to navigate in a normal macro situation.
So in terms of the game state, 8 minutes in, the game is already looking very good for KC.
Yep.
They've successfully found a kill onto the Annie, they've found a kill onto the Yasuo, the bot lane 2 versus 2 is going well, and Yike has been able to build an individual advantage. Even though everyone's kind of behind in farm on the side of KC, they're all ahead in gold. First Dragon has gone the way of KOI. We're likely going to see that early swap that we've been seeing a lot this series in order to contest the grubs. Look at the minimap, and I actually see Yunara going back towards bot, so it's not going to be a super early swap at the very least. After Supa will get the push, and it looks like Elyoya is setting his sights on these early objectives for himself.
Yike's on the opposite side of the map would be spotted by a ward, and that'll keep Supa safe. But again, MKOI find themselves in front of grubs with a bit of success. Little lands just to spot out as well. Alvaro responds with that trade as Jojo gets pushed in mid. So as grubs go down, notice that Yike is once again just opposite side of the map to where Elyoya is.
Yeah, we'll see if KC can try to get something on both side here. Maybe just a plate for Caliste. But a pretty good play by MKOI, just using Alvaro's move to get the grubs there and not really giving anything up in return. But it is just 3 grubs. They do also have the dragon, so objective-wise, it's still a good start for them, despite the fact that their lanes hasn't gone how they would have wanted it. But now Yike is looking for the invade.
Elyoya's going to come around the corner on a control ward. Aqua Prison doesn't find Yike as he runs out. Elyoya going to reclaim his Gromp, while also pings are going down that Jojo was on the move. So respect given over as KC also back off their bot lane.
Reminder to the viewers at home that in this series, it is a qualification for MSI. G2 have already taken 1 spot, but it is between KC and KOI who will take the second. The winner of this series will also move on to face G2 tomorrow in the Spring Finals, which will be obviously for the Spring Championship, but also for that first seed spot at MSI, which just dodges the play-ins. Which, if I understand the format correctly, you want to dodge.
Yeah, there's 1 spot. One team in the world goes through play-ins.
Yeah, so it is. It's a big deal. It is a very, very big deal winning Spring. So far, KC leads the series 2-0, and KOI looking, I wouldn't say dire straits just yet. They are behind.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned earlier, the lack of teleports does mean that KOI's side lane ability is going to be trepidatious, to say the least. As okay, a fight over the Raptors.
Yike is level down, doesn't care. Wind comes lightning, tidal wave flash, and there it is. Last breath coming in from Jojo. Slicing Maelstrom though on everyone. Canna with the shotgun has changed the fight. He will go down, but yeah, who's there to match? What a slicing Maelstrom from that man!
Magically, it was a 2-for-2. What felt like a one-sided fight for KC ends up being an equal trade. Crazy skirmish, huge ultimate from Canna, but MKOI do fight back.
And Canna just slightly didn't have the damage to finish off all the targets. MKOI decided to go all in on Yike, but Yike has time to activate the ultimate of his own before he gets CC chain, and the huge slicing Maelstrom, but you see the low HP bars. Canna can't finish Myrwn, he can't finish Elyoya, and it's not until kyeahoo flashes in that he gets the double kill.
They're loving it. They're loving it in this Kika Meadow. Are losing their mind.
You saw the moment they realized as well, wait, this isn't a stop.
But you know what I've also noticed is usually when Cannon's on the rip, there is an exhaust. There's no exhaust for this Cannon, so Canna gets access to the fight, and the fight can be over.
Yeah, actually, I think exhaust for Yasuo is something very common. Okay, Busio walks forward past the bubble. Now trading against Alvaro, which seems like a very even trade, but it's opening up for Yike to steal away this Gromp. Something that we've pretty consistently seen throughout this series is that utilization of pressure in order to put focus on these camps and steal them away from both sides. Yike gonna grab that one for himself as Elyoya gets back onto the map with the Trinity Force.
And spawn zone. Trinity Force going to be enough. Elyoya is passing through mid. 2v2 is going to begin onto Supa. Bit of damage down. Busio gives shielding, but it's not really enough. Supa's going to clear the wave while Dragon's still being done. Jojo and Elyoya moving into position.
MKOI want to try to play for the Drake themselves, but they're going to have to fight for it if they want to.
True.
Elyoya is hesitating if he wants to start it or not here. He's waiting for the bot lane to get pushed, while Casey want to streamline and just get this crab before MKOI's bot lane has to push.
Kyeahoo ghosting, a little bit scared now. He's got a blue card. He can't stop that Cyclone. Presses Q for a bit of damage, and Yike just runs in. Crescent guard and a wild growth. Elyoya sends Sky high, tidal wave layering down. Yike's going to die to Jojo though, who's just sitting there now with a last breath. Going through, finally running through everyone. Busio flushes. Jojo's there to match. The Yasuo unleashed, and while the focus was on Elyoya, Jojo kept sweeping the blade.
And MKOI find the fight. It looked dire in the beginning as Alvaro and Supa wasn't there. But Elyoya lives long enough to buy them time to actually play it out. I at first thought he was going in a bit too deep with the polymorph, with the CC, but he lives on 200 HP, sets up Jojo for the ultimate, and then Alvaro is there with the healing and the CC, and Supa comes in for the cleanup as well.
The arrival of Alvaro really was the difference maker. No involvement of Caliste meant that with the numbers, KOI find a much needed fight. The early game was looking dire, but KOI now back. The gold gap has shrunk significantly. Blade of the Ruin King finished for Jojo. It is a huge item spike for the Yasuo, and he's very close to level 11 as well. So now the map will start to open up. Role quest completed. We find ourselves with a very even game state 14 minutes in.
And the first time I think a positive KDA has been there. Supa going to have to Valkyrie away. Caliste doing a bit of damage now. I wanted to come back and say that for the first time in this series, we're upping Jojo. The first time here today, the Akali game 1 wasn't the best showing. He got bullied. Game 2, the Anivia got bullied again. Now there's 2v2. Speaker bullying onto Busio. Spot, polymorph. So broken. Super about to die. Arclight of Ruin flash, no. A little bit to the left. Caliste flashed over the wall, but it meant the Arclight of Ruin was a touch off.
A trade of flashes. Heals used as well, but all summoners gone for the bottom lane of KOI. An individual misplay comes through that Caliste tries to pounce on. Doesn't quite come to fruition. Elyoya now hovering the top side. Looks like it's not going to result in a gank though.
Yeah, misaligned flash from Caliste there, not able to take down Supa. You can see how hard it is for Supa and Alvaro to play these extended fights. Once Busio gets that polymorph, they just completely lose the 2v2. While Supa has the idea of, I just want to poke them and then get out with the W. He gets polymorphed and then they can just run him down. Valkyrie, that's the W part.
Yeah,
I was trying to think.
That's okay. Look, I'm just in a state of awe because it looks like for MKOI, decent position here in this game. This series, we've had the first game where MKOI couldn't win the 5v5s, but this game...
I mean, still we need to see that it's about the team fights.
I know. Oh, and maybe about Elyoya not getting caught out. He's going to run away into the clone. Canna's just going to take this directional path and cut off any resistance here from MKOI's mid lane while Herald has just spawned. So you're not convinced yet?
I'm not convinced yet because it's really the later game team fights that I feel like Casey has impressed me so much. While KOI has had great skirmishes throughout the series, it's been these slower, more tactical fights where I feel like the rest of Casey has just played so much more coordinated and so much more patient than we've seen from MKOI.
Look at Canna finding the flank. No flash available onto Myrwn. He used that in the top lane.
Way. And he's stunned Canna again, but he's found out no last breath. But Canna flashes in anyway again, slicing Maelstrom onto 2, means the bot lane of MKOI can't play rather Jojo and Alvaro, but hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Even with Elyoya down and Alvaro down, I thought maybe there's a turn back. No, I was wrong. KC just found all angles of the fight.
And KC split them apart time and time again. You see it happening so often. This is how they out-team fight MKOI. They don't give them that great wombo combo, that Yasuo ultimate. They just make them and pick them off one at a time. But Jojo wants to go for the play.
He's going to find the solo kill just about. Busio can't save him. Jojo's on a killing spree, and then finally was that ulti.
KOI gets something back, but we look at the team fight and you can see KOI being shepherded. The flank comes through, but the ulti, no vision, means that the Yasuo can't connect his ult. The Wukong goes in very deep, but he can't really threaten Caliste. The coordination from KOI, they don't know which side of the fight to focus on, and KC take advantage.
And I feel like I gave a lot of props to KC in this fight, but watching it back, it feels like mostly a huge mistake from Elyoya. They seem to know that Canna was flanking around due to the Yasuo tornado and everything. If they just turned on him as a 5-man, they easily could have one-shot Canna and then played the fight after. But you see these moments of going too deep from Elyoya this series that is costing them so much.
I think it's indecisiveness, to be honest with you. He saw an angle to get an engage, setting up for the Yasuo, and if they'd had a ward in that brush behind them, I imagine Jojo would have immediately ulted onto Canna.
Yeah.
That would have been the focus. They would have turned their attention onto him, cut off that flank. But they did get the flash out from Canna. Having cast Odoamne for many years.
All in, Transcendence, Alvaro in trouble. Canna comes in with the Protobelt as well. Tidal Wave saves the life of Alvaro, but mid-turret's still under threat. Herald's going to charge. And with that open, we're back to 2,000 gold in the lead for KC mid-open. And another bit of movement here to the bottom side, while 2-for-1 special, kyeahoo opens up bot.
Yeah, the only point I wanted to make was flash on Cannon, very important.
Yeah.
It is a key part of what makes the champion good. It gives you so much backline threat. The Rocket Belt adds that extra bit of mobility, but really the flash is such a key difference maker in your ability to find those engagements.
And jumping on that, it's now the third dragon. MKOI has full control because KC based very late to make this mid play. I think KOI can just rush this down and put themselves at soul point.
Okay, that's big. It's Chemtech Soul, but you'll take it. I mean, position of power for MKOI. I will say the trade-off is more gold here for the cannon up in the top lane. So, will it be enough? And my question wants to be optimistic because I want to see more games in the series. KC with a gold lead and a firm handle on a 2-item cannon, which I think he's going to come back with Shadow Flame about now.
I mean, if it was a different soul, I would say this is very scary for KC. If this was a Hextech Soul, Infernal Soul, but the Chemtech Soul, especially when MKOI's comp is so squishy, has very little value. It can help the Wukong and the Yasuo in some fights later on, but for the rest of the lineup, it's really not going to do too much for them.
Okay. Let's find out the use case. 4 minutes and a half to find out if MKOI have any bonus points for getting the Soul this early on. 35 seconds also. Supa, is he caught out? Not just yet. Hang on, Destiny. Good Aqua Prison from Alvaro. Pixel perfect there from kyeahoo's teleport.
So now MKOI get to push out both side lanes here, and they get some time to breathe, and Myrwn will have a window of opportunity where he can use his top push to get a move towards mid if he wants to try to go for a flash proto belt. But you can see how defensively Myrwn has to take this pathing. Like, even though he pushed the wave all the way deep in topside, he still had to be super scared of entering his own jungle due to how constrained the vision of MKOI has been and how dark the map is.
Speaking of, Canna with an angle for the mid push here. 3 members of MKOI. Delightful with the ward clearing out. Canna's timing could not be better. This is the death knell. Slicing Maelstrom flushed away from the Myrwn. Even as he burns his own, it's not over. I thought Canna was going to seal the deal, but everyone from MKOI gets out. Only burning 2 flashes out of potential 3.
Elyoya was eyeing up a re-engage, but they decide against it. A very scary situation for KOI to find themselves in, but they survived the play. The flash is gone from Canna. Jojo gets the bot tower, and MKOI live to fight another day.
I'm surprised. I thought with that Canna flank, it would result in at least 2-3 deaths from MKOI, but Canna doesn't quite have the damage on his own.
I wonder if he had Shadow Flame here, it'd be a different story.
I mean, it's a W from Supa, it's a flash from Alvaro, and then a late flash from Myrwn that gets him away to safety. But that ulti from Alvaro, I think, was the difference maker. There was no reliable follow-up. They got all CC'd by the tidal wave.
Yeah.
And so KOI was able to buy time.
Elyoya, face checking, gold card going to be found out on the real Wukong. AP anticipate mid, remember, so with Lich Bane, Rapid Fire Cannon, and a Rod of Ages, Kyeahoo does serious damage. Acro Prison going to be avoided. All about this Scuttle Crab for now. Jojo getting into position, sweeping blade, gets a flash out, last breath. Not there just yet, looking for a target. Myrwn comes in with Tibbers, gets the stun down onto Caliste. He's caught out. Supa gets in range and nails him down from afar. MKOI find one, and Baron now the thought process.
I was going to say, yeah, I completely agree, Hysterics. Could that be a Baron angle? They've got a Yasuo on the board.
Did at least.
They have Tibbers as well if they want extra tanking.
Supa.
They're going deep.
Valkyrie's into Kyeahoo. Good kiting away. Exhausted down is Jojo. Polyball maybe too far. Tidal Wave is saving the play. Crescent Guard from Yike though sends MKOI to the L. They're away. They're gone for now. Yike again for an angle. MKOI almost overstay as Canna looks for plating in the bottom side.
MKOI, they don't think they can go for the Nash. They want to try to make a mid play, but it's a little bit indecisive. The rest of the team was not prepared to try to go to Kyeahoo, so they were not able to take him down. And even though they get a great pick onto Caliste, it doesn't really convert into much. It's only going to be a little bit of gold for them. As we see here, Myrwn finds a really, really good Tibbers onto Caliste, and Caliste holds his flash for a long, long time, which allows them to just one-shot him. But in the end, it is flash burn from Caliste and flash burn from Kyeahoo, but not much else.
The gold is minimized. And Soul we're still talking about. Now, whether that moves us to an early Elder, and that could be beneficial or worse, MKOI will find out later, I'm sure. But a minute until we have to question that possibility. Third item for Caliste. Where are we at? BF Sword, Cloak of Agility. I'm seeing Supa quite a bit behind there in regards to that, but I wonder if he's got gold to base on. For now, bases have to come through soon, because 45 seconds of the Drake. It looks obvious that MKOI are trying to find a pick before set objective.
KC don't want to give this.
Yeah, the main fight is over the mid wave, and it's KOI that have the pressure for now.
Elyoya.
I don't know if this is going to work, though. They are respecting it, KC.
Well, they want to ward. Maybe it will. Cyclones early, though. Wild Growth, Tidal Wave might save the play, but it won't save Elyoya. He wasn't on top of everyone. And now, Kyeahoo has a gold card at the ready on to Alvaro. Wind becomes lightning. A Windwall to save the day, but the Arclight ruined. And a Glitterland slowed down, knocked up. Big mistake from MKOI. KC take them down. And with one whip, the captain of Spain is gone.
And the captain goes down with his ship. It's a huge mistake from Elyoya. He overforces, and KC, they pounce on the opportunity. They're going to get the Drake, and you have to feel they're going to get the Nash as well.
KC holds steadfast. The engage comes through from Elyoya. The knockup just doesn't happen. There's no Yasuo follow-up. The knockback from Yike is good. Polymorph into stun, into damage. KC take Elyoya out of the fight, and then it's simply a chase down.
And did you see Busio had lens up? He could see the Wukong coming in, so his timing could not be better. Expecting a flank, it really made the play. LZ is pissed. He's a bit annoyed. The whole MKOI camp, a little bit stressed right now.
I mean, I understand him. It's a big overforce from Elyoya when you already have gotten that mid push in. You can just rotate to the dragon and wait for them to face check you.
Exactly. You make it harder for them to do their job, right? Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's kind of been the story of the series for MKOI. Overforcing, silly mistakes, and KC have continued to demonstrate their strong team fighting capabilities. Exactly. Now, with the gold lead that they have, they are looking for a pick.
Jojo's found out this is an easy stun. Flashing Maelstrom comes in, even though it's only a one-man. Jojo last breath, going to try and take cover out, but he goes golden. Wild Growth saves his life, Tidal Wave, almost he flashes into it, they're trying to kill him. Wukong clone this time, sets up nicely, but Yike just re-initiates. He's got the Crescent Guard up, and he's taking no damage. A double kill over. KC once again, no MKOI, a force with their backs against the wall.
KC keep their top laner alive, take out the mid laner, take out the jungler, and now the Baron is served on a silver platter. It's only Supa and Myrwn left to stop the Baron going down.
Myrwn has flash, he has the ulti. He needs to make a miracle happen for MKOI here.
Gold card though. Kyeahoo saved out with the bell. There's no stun for Myrwn. He's just used it. Kyeahoo with the chase up. The gold card incoming. Canna will chase him while Baron will go down. And MKOI's chances in this series, much like the Baron, are dying fast.
Things are falling apart. KC look to collapse onto Jojo. Jojo tries his best to outplay the situation, and he comes so close to getting that kill. But Busio, with the ult, keeps Canna alive. Great play from Jojo, does everything that he can, but then this is where KOI feel like, hey, we need to get something back. We've got to overforce. A good flash from Canna, the rocket belt, and now they're too deep. The gold card once again seals Elyoya's demise, and KC secure the Baron, secure the fight, and they're looking to make this a 3-0 clean sweep.
No one had this on the bingo card. It's the first time ever a BO5 between these two would end in 3.
I think you see the desperation from Elyoya there in that play. He's not willing to accept that Jojo just dies.
Good damage, Wild Growth is being drawn out. Supa once again in another game is still a threat despite being 3,000 gold down in this specific one.
They need to find a huge play at this point. 9,000 gold lead for KC. I think a straight 5v5 is no longer feasible. It needs to be some sort of pick or one shot, which should be doable with the Annie. She has the flash, has the proto belt. I think that's really what they need to look for here if they're to come back in this game.
Yeah, coordination, planning, these are all things that we've said about KOI and is what made them so successful in the past. And it feels like the series that we just haven't seen it. If they can find that combo, that fight, then there's a world where they can turn this game around. But KC, they're demonstrating their discipline, they're demonstrating their individual capabilities, and things are looking grim here for the KOI squad.
From start to finish, this is the kind of KC that maybe chase down G2, maybe keep it back-to-back spring finals where no matter the versus that G2 struggle to face off. Last split, rather, last spring was MKOI 3-1. This time around, it could be KC. It's looking more than likely 50 seconds till the next straight. MKOI not getting anywhere near that. 9,000 gold down. How the hell do you deflect the rest of this Baron push that has 40 seconds to go?
I think Myrwn needs to find an angle here while they're trying to siege. This could be where KC overstep. It looks difficult. They might just have to give the mid an F.
They need the Yasuo, I feel. Just come back.
Are they paranoid about a flank?
Maybe. There's pings missing. They're
Yeah,
saying maybe
look,
TP.
you can see the pings in the mid wave. There's question mark pings behind them. They're very paranoid about an Annie coming up from behind. They are respecting it as much as possible. They ping out the control they do have in the river. They haven't seen anyone go behind them yet. There's the Wukong now spotted. Very cautious play here from KC.
Which again lends itself to the fact that KC here today haven't made many missteps in terms of running into MKOI. Dragon's going to be started and taken. The objective taken as we expected. We waited out for the next potential Baron. The next Dragon maybe. I mean, it's time on MKOI's side. It really has to be asked. Yasuo does have IE.
Yeah, I think at this point, when you are 10,000 gold down nearly, time is always on your side, because the longer the game goes, just the less that gold lead actually matters. But KC, they don't want to give them time. They're looking
low already. This Yasuo in trouble. Tidal Wave has to be used. Looking at Canna again, he's been pinged out, but he's angled perfect to end the series, to go to their first MSI as KC. Canna's going to come in. He only slicing Maelstroms one, though. He's going to go golden, but he's done the job against Myrwn. Yike will finish it off as Canna gets blocked by a bear, but Myrwn is not escaping the play. Meanwhile, Jojo flashes, but Caliste will take that 1v1. MKOI routed, thwarted once again. There's no play here that would look good, no matter how split up KC were. But Supa tries to fire back. Yike awaits. MKOI are used to feeling this out in 5, but KC are going to take it down in 3.
The rivalry is reduced to a show match as KC make fun of KOI in this series. 17-8 the kill score, a 10k gold lead. 4 members fall. Kill after kill, fight after fight, KC simply dominate their opposition.
MKOI will get one more opportunity in this series, one more fight.
One more.
And they need to make it count. It's nearly 12,000 gold. We'll watch this fight back, and it's always KC in the driver's seat. Jojo pushed up a little bit too far, and kyeahoo decides he wants to keep this fight going no matter what. Flashes over the wall, dodges the Nami bubble, and they continue to chase them down while Elyoya does a great flash engage. They're not able to follow up on it, and Caliste flashes nicely as well, and then the fight just turns into a bit of a mess.
MKOI have just struggled to get the combo that they are looking for. The knockup combo just doesn't happen. And
Myrwn definitely on the bear as well, slicing Maelstrom, an easy kill. Myrwn dead again. The anti-top yet again reduced to rubble just like it was last time.
Another pick secured. KC know that the Baron is spawning in 25 seconds, but they might not even need it. Will they push off the waves? They've got the wave in bot, they've got the wave in mid. Perhaps Supa's wave clear is enough as the jungle is ravaged and the camps are taken away from MKOI.
They're delaying the inevitable, though. It's going to be Nash going over to KC. I don't think MKOI has any way to contest it. They need to try, if they were to try, they need to stall for Myrwn. Has to TP when he spawns. But KC still have full control here, and with kyeahoo with the stun card, it's so difficult to try to face check for MKOI. I think they're going to have to give the Nash and try to hope for a miracle play when KC is sieging.
Yeah, this is their best bet, really.
But can they get even near? No,
they can't contest it. You have to try and hope that KC will blunder with the Baron, basically, that they overextend, similar to what we saw in game 1 with the Deco play underneath the tower. That's the type of fight that they need, where they can... but even if they win that fight, they're basically just delaying.
They are.
They're stalling.
Need about 5 of them, apparently.
If they fight in a minute's time, it could be Soul. Okay, this is like, we're going kind of deep in the copium route here, but...
We have to.
You know, if they get a good fight going in a minute's time and that turns into Soul, then you have a real win con. But...
love it, he's stretching it. I love it.
It's really going to be a big mistake from KC, even if KOI at this point played perfectly. As long as KC doesn't give them an avenue, it's KC that always wins this game.
Well, let's watch the final steps at the very least. KC moments away as they push in top. Their first ever MSI, their second ever international. It would be such a big step to secure MSI and then G2 for tomorrow. With this roster as well. kyeahoo the addition. Busio, I'm not going to say upgrade, but obviously best support in the West, people have said. Alongside Caliste as the siege begins. Here we go, Supa! Hit once, run! He's going to go back to base. Turret's now open with the Canna minion firing away. Midwave also in a bit of trouble. Baron is doing the work, and KC haven't burned a sweat.
KC are taking their time, they're using their range, they're chipping away as KOI just don't have the wave clear, waiting for the minions to do their job. And Caliste, with the damage that he has, if you step too close, it will melt your HP bar. kyeahoo gonna use the ghost, threatening the gold card.
MKOI under this turret. If it falls down, there's nothing to save them. Canna now threatens a Nexus turret. Jojo has to go and help. Double cannon minion, he'll sweeping blade towards it to stop it. MKOI have to kind of send it, but KC are not giving them the chance. Wow. There's another free dragon going to be taken.
KC are playing extremely patient.
Yeah.
I would say almost too patient. They have to be
gold.
They have to be a little cautious, just because like it's only 34 minutes and obviously they're still very much favored to win this game, but the more opportunities, more time you give to KOI, the more chances that they get given ultimately to try and turn the game around.
Yeah, they definitely could have went for the top inhib, but they just recognized that if something goes wrong there, if they get really chunked, then it could be the soul for MKOI, which they wanted to avoid at all costs. It does mean, though, that even though KC had a 13,000 gold lead, with their Baron Nash power play, all they got was a mid inhib, which is the least valuable of the inhibs, and a Chemtech Dragon that isn't sold for them. So all in all, a good outcome in a bad situation for MKOI.
I am proud of you, Jack. You're really giving us some kind of hope of what can be. Jojo's going to take a turret. There you go. A little bit more for you as well.
Objective bounty.
That's an objective bounty.
Yeah.
Big. I mean, gold's 12.3k now rather than 13.
Yeah. He slims that gold lead down to only a 12k.
And getting out of your base at a 13k gold disadvantage is pretty big.
I mean, GA for Jojo as well. That's a big pickup.
Okay. Vedi, you want to cope anywhere? Or?
I mean, the yes.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, I mean, if KC don't end the game, KOI can still win the game.
Oh. Wow.
And right now, I personally think they're just playing a little too scared. Now I think that their fear is appropriate. When I look at that Corki's items, I would not underestimate him.
Okay.
It only takes a single, I mean, do you remember that Caliste W into one too many people?
Oh, yes, I do.
It only takes one
Destiny.
dash from a Yunara, you know, to...
He did Valkyrie W into Annie, and there is
Yes.
an Annie on MKOI's side.
So, you know, it's always possible to throw games.
This is done from MKOI. Destiny was used, and they all huddled up together, giving no angle here for Karmine. Kyeahoo, excuse me. Elyoya thinking about going in with a clone. Jojo as well, sweeping blade in. He's jumping in. He's got no choice. He's got GA, gets the flash out of Caliste. Tidal wave though. Jojo's going to ulti back in with the wild growth though. Caliste is unmatched, unstoppable. He just won't die. Look at the damage. They're trying to send it for the French AD carry. They've got a grudge, but they just can't kill him. Everyone falls from MKOI as the bragging rights for Komedo reach peak.
And Caliste will not repeat the same mistakes he did against Na'Vi. He kites it back, he respects the engage, and he shuts down MKOI.
It's revenge for last spring, but without breaking a sweat in a 3-0 with the first MSI locked in for KC. Doing it versus Spain makes it all the more richer as KC paints the league blue, locking in spring finals versus G2.
A strong 3-0 performance against KOI. KC came and delivered today. They will get their LEC versus finals rematch. They will have another opportunity to fight G2, and they will secure a spot at MSI.
And KC, yeah, they showed their dominance in this series. As you can vote for your player of the series, Canna, Yike, or kyeahoo. The top side of KC showed up tremendously today, and the team fighting from KC was really the difference maker in this best of 5.